back. Won't be able to pull the filament back out.
It does. Yeah, but it does go back and forth, and then pretty quickly it fuses together.
Okay.
So
well, if I disappear here in a minute, that's what I'm in there doing.
That's it.
Impatient. Tomorrow I'll have a whole big roll of white, but I had 2 small rolls. And I thought,
we'll just turn it way down.
I hoped it would. I hoped it would get through on one of the rolls, but it doesn't look like it's going to make it.
Yeah, never works that way.
Sam, what you printing?
Well, I'm printing a ring to go around a 2-gang outlet box to bring it out from the wall an inch.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I've got lots of home automation switches that are really deep, and it's just hell to get them. Excuse my French. To get them into a box.
And the extenders that they make are kind of clunky.
Yeah, I found commercially a single. It actually was listed as a GFCI extender, but I haven't been able to find any doubles or triples. So,
come to think of it, I don't know that I have either.
So I found it on found the files, and I'm printing my own.
Cool. Of course, there's files out there for that.
Yeah, I did a triple the other day, and actually the file I found was just a straight-walled box that came out, and it didn't go out sideways and fill the area behind the plate. It was really ugly. So I actually did some CAD work and designed my own where it has some width to it, and actually looks pretty good. And but now I'm printing a double.
Sounds good. I've had a couple of instances where I had a wall that wasn't the full 3.5 inches thick.
Yeah.
It had been done with the 2x4s on the side, so it was only 1.5 inches thick. So I ended up framing it out with 1x on the outside and putting a normal depth box in. But I think what you got planned, it sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, it seems to work. I don't know, I've got all, hindsight. I built the house. If I'd, known I was going to do all this automation, I would have told the electrician I want, super deep boxes everywhere, but I didn't. And he used, I think, what he had on the truck. I've got some that are but like an inch deep, and others are 3 inches.
Yeah. You got the 79-cent box when you wanted the $3.79 box.
Yeah. So, and that's okay on a receptacle or something, but on switches, I wish he'd, So anyway, it's making do, and the one or two I've done are, man, it's amazing what an inch will do as far as space, for all the wires, wire nuts and all that stuff. So
remember, when you go to put that filament in there, if it runs out, that it will be going up and down. The filament goes in and out.
Right.
So don't be jamming that down in there. Kind of have a light touch and match the force that it's coming in and out with. Okay. And then at some point it'll just end up grabbing it and off you go.
Or use the force.
Exactly. That's exactly what you need to do.
I need the force. Yeah.
Use the force. Be skilled with the force.
The feed on mine is at the top of this fairly long tube that goes down to the extruder. So
you have one of those.
It's an ender, and so it's got it's got 6 inches or so to get down into the extruder. So I'm gonna have to probably sit there and nurse it for a little while.
Yep. I actually changed colors that way one time.
Having so much fun.
I bet you are.
I'll show you my little Morse key that I
printed.
And,
you said
I'm just printing everything up here. It's fun. Printed Christmas trees yesterday. I found a roll of green, and green's kind of hard to find this time of year.
Yeah, I would bet.
6 foot, 7 foot. How tall a tree did you print?
More in millimeters, 90 millimeters. It was.
Isn't that the Banana Boat song there, Peter? 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot bunch?
That's
something like that, yeah.
They've got a lot of bananas that you can print, which is I always thought would be fun.
Speaking of Santa's elves.
What?
Go ahead, Peter.
It's K5MAF, Santa's elf.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He can't hear me because he doesn't have his headphones on. Okay, everybody be quiet.
And he's up there close to the North Pole.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, he could probably go right out his back door and touch the magnetic North Pole. You know,
Probably so.
It'll move in a week down that far. Yes. So what else? Who's else got something? I see Brent says projects ? And he says they keep multiplying like rabbits. What do you got, Brent? What's going on?
Can you hear me? I don't have the mic plugged
Yeah,
in.
you got it. You're good.
There's
You're good.
Yeah, okay. So, what was it? Well, I'm never prepared, but I came here to kind of hang out, but also I had in the back of my head, which kind of motivated me to get here, is I guess there were some coax and specific little connectors for antenna, and I had been thinking about doing them. I thought I don't know. This is kind of between, but I remember talking to you back in the day, and there was something that I found in the MFJ catalog that I was gonna order, like just a few parts, and I don't know. You had some connectors. I have to craft things. Give me a minute.
Okay. And yeah, small or medium or large or something. All right. Good. Glad to hear it. Who else is there? Ken's in there. Mike's in there. Look at that. What do you got, Ken? You got anything good?
Oh, I've been fiddling with my mag loop a little bit. I'm just about to measure after grounding the inner conductor to the outer shield on that thing.
Oh, did it make any difference?
What I'm about to measure, I haven't done it yet.
I'm so excited.
But I was in the, I was
Yeah, man.
bouncing between 40 and 20 meter the way it was at with the capacitors that I had available. But
Peter's showing an MLA 30. What is that one for, Peter?
For about just under $50.
What capacitance?
Oh, I don't know. It's
Hold
said
up there
to
again.
work from half to 30 megahertz. It's receive only. It's got a little amp on it that's fed through a bias T that comes with it. That runs off USB. That will be for medium wave and long wave for listening, not for talking. They've been all the rage in the SWL area for the last year or maybe two. I don't know. They're cheap.
my other big project was changing the knobs on my QCX. It comes with two knobs that fill up the right side, and you always bump the volume when you're tuning it.
Ugh.
And one of the complaints that people had that led back to the Mini was that with the old radio, it laid more or less flat, and the knobs were on either side of the radio, and they didn't, they were easier to use. So I found a 1/2 inch and a 1 inch versus the 2 3/4 inch, and it made the volume control small and the encoder large, and that actually improves the ergonomics of it quite a little bit. I still haven't got around to putting the SO239 on it, but I've started to do it a couple of times and got distracted, but get that on there and I'm going to be pretty much done with my fiddling. I think you can go play with it.
Done with your fiddling.
Yeah. Only when you sell it, or yeah. Have we made any contacts with it? That's the most important thing.
Not yet. No, my code is so bad. I'm still working on that though, diligently.
Good. I saw that Morse code class is everybody's taking a break now, or one more class, I guess, next Monday, right?
Yeah. Well, we met yesterday without Alan, and visited. John had put on a FL Digi presentation of sorts, and we poked around and played with that and tried to copy each other over the air to see if we could get any connections. Carl was kind of far away from several of us are up here in the city, but
we used to do code practice after the 10 meter net on Wednesday, whatever night that is, Wednesday night. We used to get on. We stayed right on the same frequency and just started doing code practice.
Well, that would, I've never succeeded in getting into 10-meter net from here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can sometimes tell that y'all are going at it, but I can't really copy it. I might copy Morse code, but sideband, no. But I'm going to put a vertical L 10-meter up at 30 feet and see if I can get a little better coverage.
Ken, were you copying Peter last night?
I copied. I did not copy Carl. Everybody else I could get.
Yeah, me too. I could hear Peter fine, but couldn't hear Carl at all.
Other Peter, bad Peter, right? Because I wasn't on
Bad
anything
Peter.
last night.
Bad Peter. Bad Peter.
Well, if he wasn't contacting, it was bad Peter. If he was well, last night Peter wasn't on, was
John. I meant John, not Peter.
I was gonna say because Peter and I were out playing with stars last night.
Planets, I thought.
Oh, both biblical names.
Yeah.
I just got confused there.
I meant to look.
I was talking about.
I meant to look tonight. I'll need to look again tomorrow night. I saw it last night, but with binoculars.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
I thought last night was the closest. And
yeah. Now they'll start separating.
Yeah, it's like teenage lovers.
Oh my!
Wow, where did that come from?
Yeah.
These things pop into your head when you're my age.
Yeah, I guess.
I was gonna say my wife would say that's not the same thing, but oh well.
And then you look them up on Google and you think, thank goodness.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Well, cool. Let's see if I can get. Oh, there it is. There it is. Take that. Sharlene got this today for herself, not for me. Anybody recognize it?
Can't read it. Hold it a little closer.
Tell me about Department of Energy.
Hawkins Nuclear
National Laboratory.
National
My
Laboratory.
Goodness.
Wow.
Isn't that Stranger Things?
Yes, you're a winner.
When's the next one supposed to be on?
When's the next one start, Sharlene? She said she doesn't know. They did weird times.
Are you allowed to show us that, or do you have to kill us now?
No. She got it off the Amazon or something. It showed up in a truck today. So she said there's one for a Hawkins Radio Club. I'm gonna have to take a look for those.
Wow. We'd have to put aluminum foil on our antennas, though.
That'll work.
Because that's how they got theirs to work. So.
Oh, really?
You didn't watch the show, did you?
No, I don't watch. No.
It's a good show. It's pretty funny.
She showed me the antennas and stuff. I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah. Where's Mike? Mike with the what was your problem we were talking? I told you to bring tonight. Setting up signal link. Did you get your signal link running?
No.
Oh.
I have given up on the rig pie because there's not enough documentation out there for a ICOM IC 718.
This is very confusing to me. That should just, if it works on other ICOMs, 718, the basic command set's the same across all the radios. Which is crazy.
It should work. I mean, it shouldn't be a problem at all. Mine did before I sold it to Mark, and I'm sure it's working with Mark.
At least
now.
That's what you told him.
Yeah. No, yeah. It works just fine with my 718 and doing FT8. So I know the signal link's working.
Oh, single link. He's talking about RigPi.
Oh no.
To do remote stuff, right, Mike?
Well, you can remote off of it. I was just interested in getting a digital signal out there. because it'll do all the digital modes.
Oh, it'll do that as well. Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
realize that. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's supposed
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. It does.
Because you only
So
need.
what won't it do?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, for when I plug the radio USB port into it and turn it on and start rig, FL rig, it puts the radio in transmit and won't let it out of transmit.
How are you connecting to the radio?
I'm using the accessory port, the 13-pin port.
Okay.
And, it's got a USB on this end and two mic and a speaker connection.
Really?
Okay, that came with the rig Pi.
No, I bought that third party. I think I got it off MFJ, and I bought it specifically for the 718.
And that's got a 13-pin ACC1, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, it goes.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Radio.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah, a lot of the newer ones have the 13-pin. I've got older ICOMs, and it's 6, 7-pin, 8-pin DIN.
I will admit to some seller's regret on my 718.
Huh. So it goes into transmit. If you plug in the cable with the radio on, you plug in the cable. Never mind the rig Pi. Don't plug it into the rig Pi. Does it go into transmit?
No.
Okay, so it's probably not a shorted pin or a misconfiguration. It's probably something software-y.
Yeah, I think it's a software issue, and the guys that wrote the rig Pi programs, they're right now they're running around like chickens with their heads cut off trying to figure out how to fix things because they got too many radios it doesn't work with.
Yeah, that's no good. Well, okay, so there are so the ICOMs are the CIV stuff, the computer interface 5, I think is what that stands for. I don't know if there was a 4 and a 3 and a 2, but the command sets are pretty common across the radio for things like changing the frequency, changing the mode. Obviously, you can't go into 2-meter mode on your 718 because you don't have it, but I can on my 746 Pro because it does. But for the basic stuff, it should work. So whatever library there were, and you said you're using FL rig, right?
Yeah, well, it's the version that came with my rig Pi was version 1, and I updated to version 2. It cost me another $40 to download version 2.
Not used to paying money to software.
I didn't see the fine print that said show your proof of purchase and get an upgrade for $6. So
they should be able to refund that.
Yeah, now I can't remember where the receipt is where I got the rig Pi from. So anyway, the rig Pi's sitting aside, and I'm going to go with the rig blaster and see if I can get it to make the radio sing.
This is odd because that ought to. That's it. The control part of ICOMs are a pretty well known thing, right? I mean, there's variations in the connectors. The newer ones have USB plugs, but you're shoving the same protocol across the wire. Just the wire changes, and it ought to just work. And I don't understand why it's not. That's well, and you're doing hard keying on the thing. That's even simpler.
Yeah, I can get the rig Pi to control the radio before I bought the 13-pin setup using a cable that goes to programming.
Okay.
But I can't hear anything, and the radio can't get any. There's no speaker and microphone connection that way. It's just that one simple programming.
Yeah, the CIV bus. Yeah, because the nice thing with the ACC pin is it's got everything on it. Audio in, audio out, keying, RIDI, the whole deal.
This wasn't using the the CI5. This was
Right.
the, one on the other end of the radio.
Yeah. Well, that's frustrating.
But if you were controlling it, then all you have to do is hit the audio in and out, and everything else is handled by that controller, correct?
I
Should.
never tried it that way with both cables in the rig pi.
I think where's Ken with the 718, or Mark with the 718? How do you have yours up? Don't you have a control cable, an audio cable? Because we argued that one night that you only had one, and then you found the
right.
second.
I've only got the one, and mine's plugged in from the radio to the signal link, from the signal link to the computer.
Through the microphone?
Yeah.
That's the difference.
You're on the front connector, microphone connector with the signal link.
Yep. But you can go through the ACC. It's all the same stuff.
Yeah, I just did. Yeah.
Pins.
Are there any jumpers on the sound card portion of RigPi? Is there anything internal that you have to mess with?
Not that they'll tell you. It's all done software, and I never got that far because the radio was locked up in transmit.
Yeah, that's really weird. That should just work.
Yeah, that should.
Which variation? I see there's a bunch of RigPis, including an MFJ. Which do you have?
It's the MFJ model 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, it is 1, 2, 3. Look at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got a kick out of that too when I first saw it. I said 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
Okay.
Pressing the TR. This is somebody else with the same thing. Let me get this on the right thing here I can share. Somebody has the similar thing. It's an FT991, sticks in transmit. Yeah, but that's not with a RigPi. Never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, RigPi tuner page. Go back. Oh, it was.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Does your computer show that it's transmitting?
No.
So it thinks it's not transmitting.
When I ask it to connect, it puts the radio into
Transmit right away.
Do we have to tell the RigPi what radio you're connecting to?
Well, you're telling the program FL Rig.
And you tell it that it's a 718?
Yeah. See, FL Rig's been around for a long time.
Yeah, it's part of FL Digi.
This says that he can reset the radio back to receive mode by momentarily pressing the microphone PTT button.
If you, well, let me. I was going to say something. I'm retracting my if you. Got to Google here for a bit.
So is the Rig Blaster working?
I haven't hooked it up yet, Mark.
Okay.
I have it and got it out of a box that I had sitting in the sitting around, and it was on my Kenwood 820 sugar.
Okay.
I guess I could go to the storage and get my PK 232 out. It's only 20 years old.
Hey man, if you send that into Time Wave, they'll upgrade it to the newest versions of stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't care what year it is or what era it was.
But
I mean, it costs you money, but
yeah, that's what I was saying. Not for free.
not for free. No. Well, no.
It's called Time Wave now.
Yeah, they've inherited that product line. AEA's long gone. Long gone.
I'm gonna see if I can get Dwayne Angles if he's floating around doing nothing, and see if he's there. He's our rig pie guy. But that sounds like a configuration issue, that it's sending the wrong command.
Yeah.
Sending the wrong command to the radio. And on the connect. Or is there an option on that 718 that says transmit when you get a connect? Is there something you have to set on the 718?
No.
No? I know there is on the 730s.
That's very old.
Or 7300. Sorry, 7300s.
A stupid, possibly a stupid question. Did we verify that the cable's wired correctly?
Never a stupid question.
Or was that already asked? I'm sorry if I missed it.
No,
was not asked.
I haven't traced out the wiring to see if it's correct because I don't have a schematic for that particular device. I guess I could find one.
Hmm.
You know, if you look at the manual, the owner's manual, that they should have it in the back.
Well, yeah, the pinout for the 718 should be easy to find, and it probably has.
The manual's online. There's a PDF of the manual.
Sure.
Just my 2 cents to make sure that your pre-made cable wasn't accidentally have a couple of wires swapped and.
Yeah. Well, he said when it was plugged in without hooking it to the rig pie, it did not transmit. So it's not like a short.
Yeah, it's pointing more towards software than anything else, or the actual settings.
Just a thought.
I'm sorry, I jumped in here in the middle. Is this a cat cable that you're trying to program?
Yeah, cat kind of thing. Yep.
Oh, do you have
to a 718?
Okay,
718 to a rig pie.
All right. So your bit rate might be a little bit too high. You may want to move that down to 4800. And also, let me look around in my notes real quick. You may also have your serial port configured incorrectly, because.
Oh, that could be that it's jamming it up on a serial.
Yep. Yeah. Let me look around. I'm going to mute and I'm going to take a look.
Yeah, it's a USB to TTL, right? It's a USB mic on the device end.
Yeah, it comes out of the rig pie as USB.
Okay, and using the what kind of cable are you using? You're not using one of those crappy Chinese chips, are you? It's FTDI, right?
Well, that's
they're all crappy Chinese.
I bought it from MFJ, and I was hoping that they knew what they had in it.
Yeah, then if you're getting it from them, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. All right. Give me a second here to look at some notes, and I can get that information, because I fought with my FT450 to get the bit rate correct. Hold on.
And standing by. And serial port is a good option. That's a good. You can jam up all kinds of stuff by putting the wrong serial speed. Do you know what serial speeds were on each side? The rig pie side and the other.
Yeah, and it may be so if you're keying the radio via the ACC port and not keying I just looked at the CIV stuff for that radio, and you can't go into transmit mode using the remote or the programming jack on that radio. You can on some, not that one. Fine. So you're keying off the ACC port, and it's possible that whatever line on the fake serial port that the USB adapter is presenting to the OS, it might be set wrong. It might be one set to always on or something like that. That'd be an FL rig probably. Because there are some adapters where there have been in the past, that required you to turn one of the pins on to power the adapter. I think that was actually pre-USB days, but you flipped one of the pins high and that gave it the voltage it needed to do the rest of its job. And generally on the USB ones, you don't need to do that. Maybe it's a default that's set wrong. I think the serial port emulation maybe is a good place to start looking. Or
yeah, I think John's got a good idea there.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's on the right track.
Because this thing I have actually on the screen here.
It's your picture.
Says, no, yeah, it was. Says reduced CAT data rate from 38.4 to 19.2 to 9600.
This is not CAT data. We're not talking CAT.
Yeah,
data.
but it's still data.
Yeah.
No, actually, it's not. It's shorting a pin, and you're just doing it.
Oh,
with serial
this
port.
is physically.
Yeah, well, physically.
But
yeah.
the USB. But the thing that plugs into the USB is serial.
Well, it's USB to the converter, and the converter flips it to RS-232, and all it says is short this pin.
What,
RTS or CTD, whatever. I forget all the names, but. And that's all it's doing. What can I? Trying to think if I've got something that can show.
This one says PTT does not function.
What's that? I think what I'll do is I will go find FL rig and see if I can FL rig my FL rig.
There you go.
That might do it. Yeah, you got to set the CAT RTS to disable and CAT rate to 48.
4800 on where? On the computer?
Yes.
On the radio, and it has to match the computer.
Yes.
So you have to go into the serial port settings of the computer and set it to.
In the software, you want to set it to. On the radio itself, you want to set CAT RTS to disable and CAT rate to 48 BPS. All right, and then in the software, you want to make sure that your RTS is set to disable and your bit rate is at 48.
So that's in the FL Digi program, or on the?
I believe so. Yeah.
On the serial driver.
Yeah. Now, I'm kind of surprised that FL Digi doesn't have that
FL rig.
This configuration.
Or FL rig. Sorry, FL rig.
Oh,
yeah,
FL rig.
It's a subset of.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of surprised it doesn't have it set up that way.
A little bit, yeah.
Have a base configuration that'll work.
Let's see what the download link is here. FL rig download. There we go.
I see. But Mark, yours is 718. You're going in off the front mic jack. That's the difference. Okay.
No, I'm not.
Where are you going?
You're going out the CAT port, right?
I'm going out the CAT port at the back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, according to FL rig, what I'm seeing is that the RTS CTS setup in FL rig, it's set to 38400 with one stop bit. I don't know if it works because I haven't tried it, but that's the default settings.
Well, I'm looking at what I had had that 718 when I had it set up as in NFL, and I had selected the 718, serial port none, baud rate 4800. Now that was running with a signal link. and the cat cable. And then there's the CIV address was 0x5E.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember that.
So is this a 991 or a 991A?
It's actually a 718 is what he's doing.
Oh.
We just found that other. I found that other piece for 991, similar problem. But,
Oh, I see.
and it's just going into transmit. So a serial kind of sounds like the right answer, but. And MFJ didn't have any input for you?
Well, they send you over to nurses RigPi forum.
Oh.
Yeah, that doesn't help at all. Is it IC17? Is that the 718?
718.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
9600 baud, 1 for stop bit, echo, and RTS plus 12, DTR plus 12 is default.
One more time, John, a little slower after 9600 baud.
1 stop bit and echo are both checked in FL rig. We're talking FL rig configuration.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, and RTS is plus 12 volts and DTR is plus 12 volts.
Yeah, but that's not on a. You don't want 12 volts. I don't.
But that's just signifying it as
That's
low.
the default configuration in FL rig. That's what I'm looking at. I can screenshot this and send this.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the same thing because I'm trying it on my icon.
But that's exactly what I had on mine, and it worked when I had it here. So
okay.
There you go. We got her fixed. Now all you got to do is make it work.
Except in the case of the signal link, I had a 4800 baud set instead of 9600, but it was matched on both the radio and the FL rig. And if you set
that's the important thing in life.
You set it at 9600, it might work. It might not, but it did work on Signal Link, not RigPi, but Signal Link at 4800. 1 stop bit echo and RTS DTR at 12 plus 12 volt.
All righty, guys, I'll give that a whirl while
you just
have a chance tomorrow.
Choke on that.
Yeah. Well, information overload.
Yeah. I'm glad you got something you can do out of that because I'm going, wah! Well, that's the good news. That's why I said bring it here. That'd be a good place to chase it down. Good. We got Ken in there who's brand new guy.
Is that how we are now?
Brand new
Mark?
guy? What?
Is that how we are now? We tell
What?
people just choke on that?
Yeah, choke on that. Exactly. That's all I know how to do, man. There was information overload was just fire hose. Yeah, there's Don with his fire hose. And we got 3 or 4 guys that actually have one.
Try getting an instrument flight rating.
Yeah. Exactly. Ken, do you have any questions? Are you floating around or are you just listening? Or?
I've got more questions you guys can answer, I promise.
Oh, I bet you not. I will take that bet.
We'll make stuff up if we have to.
Bet.
Yeah, I'm trying to make stuff up and it doesn't work. But anyway, been trying to get my phone going, and my radio. I've got the Anytone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the D878.
Yep.
And just going through, I got it from Bridgecom, and so I've been trying to go through their university and trying to kind of go down the list of things I'm supposed to do. And I've got the firmware updated, and I just going down the list, getting everything updated and so on. And it's gotten me to the point now where I need to get a DMR ID, and it says to go to radio ID to get it. And they recommend that you, well, they say you have to turn in an official copy of your call sign from the FCC.
Peter.
Are you guys familiar with that?
What's the question?
It's easy to get.
He wants an official copy of his FCC license that he just got from us Saturday.
Yeah, I was wondering if that's something that takes a while to get, or how that
Nope.
works.
No, you
Actually-
can download it, but this is to get a DMR ID.
Yeah, you have to send in a copy now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
have to
do.
have an actual official copy.
Yeah, I just did this last week.
Yes,
Oh.
you do.
Do it, Don.
It's 2021.
I had to when I sent mine in to get my DMR number.
It's paper. Paper.
No, not paper. PDF.
copy.
Oh,
But you have to have a
um,
copy of it.
Don, do you know how to do it off the top of your head?
it's in the email I send out to the new people.
I'll have to remember where
I'll
I
double
got
check
that.
that.
Let me
'cause I
go.
was
Let me
just
go
wondering
pop
what
off
they
and
got.
look.
Who was that speaking?
That's Ken Harris.
A.W. Harris.
Yeah, I'm Kim Harris. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Down
Remember
at the,
him without a mask? Or with a mask?
It's with me.
I didn't recognize him.
I'm
In that email I sent you Monday,
Uh-huh.
down at the bottom, there's a
Okay.
thing that says obtain license copy, and the ARRL explains how to do that. And it looks like it's still up to date.
Okay, I'll go
That
check
might be faster.
Yeah, because
the address they had at the radio ID.
Mhm.
It didn't work.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, they just recently changed that, so that makes sense to some of us.
yeah,
Yeah.
go to the URL.
buddy.
Iron Man. Yeah, go to the URL at the bottom of that email that I sent you that talks about obtaining a paper copy. It's not. It's PDF.
Right.
There is official versions and there are reference versions, and I think the instructions they have will send you to the official version. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
They should sign they should put the digital signature on the official copy, but they don't. There's
Well,
virtually
it
no
is.
difference.
The digital copy is the word official on there. That's what they're using. Is that
Just write it
anybody-
in.
Yeah. Choke on that, Mike.
And they will, of course, Ken's probably got a paper one in the mail or eventually in the mail at some point, but
Nope.
Nope.
They don't do that
well,
now.
no,
They haven't sent out paper licenses in ages.
I just got one the other day, but I did have to request it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah,
and
make a-
sometime in the
make a
spring
request for
they
it.
will no longer do that.
Yep.
As soon as
Thanks.
60 days after it appears in the Federal Register, whatever, however many days.
Ken, you can get a copy of that, a PDF of that right now if you go to the
Yeah,
FCC
he's
site.
got
Yeah.
the instructions.
Yep, that piece that Peter sent him, I'll have all the instructions. Okay, so you get your ID. Are you stuck any further, or are you good?
No,
after
well,
that?
that's as far as I got. I was trying to figure that out with their link, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I'm doing something wrong, but
No, you'll get used to that after a while.
Yeah, great. Things don't
It's
work.
it's not me, it's them.
At least it's my version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm just kind of going down that little trip. I don't know how. Trying to get this Anytone working. It
That's
looks like a
been a
really
good
nice
one.
one, but I'm not sure if somebody with my amount of vast experience will be able to figure it out.
Oh man, I mean to tell you, DMR, everybody has to climb the same hill. So
Oh, okay. All right. I don't
hang
know
on.
some now.
Hang on, we were all in your shoes at one point, a couple years ago
Right.
at most.
I feel sorry for you.
I remember, Mark, I remember quite a few of those Zoom meetings where we all met at the fire station, and that was the big subject topic on DMR. It's getting that
Alliance.
number.
Oh, the DMR. Yeah, getting your ID. Yeah, because they kept changing it for.
Yeah.
See, when I got my license, when I got my DMR thing, they just said, give us your call sign, and surely you're honest and you're not going to lie to us. And they didn't check anything. And
Yeah,
then
there was about a dozen of us that bought them at the Ham
Ham-
Holiday,
yeah,
and we got our numbers that afternoon.
yeah. And I think I keyed them all in, if I remember right. I just sat at a computer keying everybody's stuff in. So then all of a sudden they went, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
People are getting stuff they shouldn't have. And then they put something real draconian in. I don't remember what it was. Like you had to mail it in a Funkin' Wagnalls jar and something. It was really weird.
A what?
Funkin' Wagnalls. Don't you remember
Jar?
that?
No, a mayonnaise jar on Funkin' Wagnalls porch.
There you go. That's it. You didn't watch Johnny Carson?
Oh, I watched a lot of it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes, I miss Johnny a lot.
That was one of his famous deals when he did his comedy routine.
Karnak, yeah.
Karnak.
So,
I mean, but Funkin' Wagnalls was about as close as you get to get the cussing back then.
That's exactly right. But
Yeah, but everybody knew what he was saying. Come on.
Yeah, we did.
Pretty much.
But then they settled on this deal for the official, the PDF, because only the license holder can get the one that says official on it.
Yeah.
And
right.
I can't, you know.
You know, it says official copy.
Yeah.
Does that bother anybody else that it says copy?
Oh my God, Carl. Oh my God. Oh my, you're making my brain hurt. Yeah, but that's Carl.
The reference would say reference copy.
He's right. But it is an official.
Of course I'm right.
No, it's an official copy. No, I mean, Carl's right. It is a copy, but it's not a copy of the original. It is the original. Or is it? The original one doesn't exist. Maybe if two.
Oh, because the original one's in the computer.
Yes.
So the original one's in Washington, D.C. in a vault.
You got to send them the hard drive.
Mark, do you own chickens?
No.
I'm starting to wonder about that chicken and egg thing going on there.
No. I ran over a deer last night, so that's as close as I can get.
So Stu will be ready tomorrow?
No, actually, Sharlene went by to go take a look, and she found the half of the deer that's still there. So
there you go.
It was pretty big. It's pretty big.
What kind of car are you going to get now?
It was the truck. It didn't do any. Well, it punched. It's a chrome bumper, and we all know what chrome bumpers are. There's a mounting angle iron behind the chrome bumper. It punched the mounting bracket through the chrome bumper on the front of the truck.
Nice.
It's like, ooh, that was a pretty good hit. I feel sore.
Your truck or work truck?
My truck. That big 95 150.
Yeah, it was time to put a new bumper on that anyway.
Nah, it's fine.
It'll be the work truck.
It'll buff out.
Yeah, yeah, of course not.
Yeah.
We had a work.
There's some work said for good old pickup trucks, man.
Yeah, boy, I'm glad it was that and not the Prius. Is all I'm going to tell you. Is it?
You still have that Prius from like 15 years ago?
Yeah, we had two of them. If that would have been the Prius, that thing would have been in the cab with me because it was top of the 150 hood, and that would have gone right through the windshield on me. I brought it down to 35 before I hit it, but
I don't know if you saw my. Well, you've seen my Blue 11 before, so yeah, that's what I was driving the other day.
Yeah,
that's
as close as I get to chickens crossing the road.
That's one of the reasons I like driving a big truck.
Yeah, boy, that was a good day to have a big truck.
Yeah,
they will jump. They will jump and come through your windshield hooves first. I've seen people killed like that.
I was seeing that. I'll tell you.
Hey, Mark, where was that? Now, was that out in the sticks or was it close to
60th and Robinson? Sharlene says a quarter mile east of 60th and Robinson.
It's not that far out in the sticks.
No, I think it was closer to 48th. I think it walked up there a little bit, but maybe not. Trust me, I was not looking at stop signs.
No, I doubt it. No, when we used to live out in the sticks in Kansas, we had a 1 mile stretch where you were almost guaranteed to have a deer if you were early in the morning or at dusk.
Yeah, this was at 9, 8 or 9, so it wasn't too early.
They just put up a deer crossing sign right up here on Northwest Expressway out by my house, and the sign itself is maybe this big.
But the deer don't see the sign, do they?
Yeah, they don't
can't
read the
read.
sign.
I think they
Yeah.
do.
Well, what I can't figure out is if the highway
where to cross.
what I can't figure out is if the highway department no longer has a budget to put up full-size signs, or maybe they're just little bitty deer, so they put up a little bitty sign.
I think this is the right answer. Is the highway department knows the signs don't do any damn good, so just you put a sign up. You're not required to have a certain size sign. You put it up,
and it takes away their liability too.
Exactly. There you go, Mark. You got it.
I don't know.
Sam, that's actually hilarious because in England, the deer are about a third the size of our whitetails here. The general small deer you see over there. So like, yeah. I mean, you might wreck a subcompact, but that's about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I see more deer around those signs than I do anywhere else, it seems. So I think maybe they're smart enough to know and read those signs and go, "Oh yeah, here's a crossing."
Okay, cause and effect here, people. Come on.
Okay, nobody harmed the deer. Okay.
Is this the radio you have, Kim? The 878 Anytone? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the 878 UV Plus.
They're only $210 now. Look at that. Those are good little radios.
They've gone. I think they're probably having Christmas sales because they initially were up in around 235, 240, and
that's what I remember.
And but I got mine on a decent deal, and they had 25% off on accessories, so I got some things like that. So I got a microphone and another battery.
Oh, good.
So,
yeah, that'll be a good little radio. That one's. I think you can use it as a hammer, if I remember right. Isn't it well built?
It's pretty thick, yeah.
It's pretty good and solid. So once you do that, you'll need a code plug, and I can't remember who had. I think it was Jorge. Wasn't that Jorge that had a code plug for us? I think he had one of those. We'll have to see and that's the configuration file that Peter Laws is throwing up right now because I said code plug. Yeah. He had Peter, wasn't that Jorge that said that he had an Anytone?
Yeah, I think that's right.
And we'll have to get that for you. That'll make it easier. That will at least ease the pain if you can load this file in, and then put your call sign or your radio ID in there, and you can at least get it working, and then you can start tweaking it. And that's what helps out a whole bunch, is to make that.
I know it's on one side. I'm not sure if it's Bridgecom. It may be up there, maybe something else. But anyway, it talked about having code plugs for various regions, various states, and so on and so forth. And I didn't know if the one for Oklahoma was going to be.
I don't know what they have. I'm gonna have to look. I can't remember if we put one up there. Everybody kept promising me this. Oh, I'll send you one. I'll send you one. And I think Jorge was the last one that said that. We might have to
see the problem with that. I got to tell you, you have jumped into, if not the most difficult part of ham radio, one of the most difficult parts of ham radio. Because
yeah, no question.
Because building a code plug for radios, even within the same make, it doesn't work.
Yeah. So if you have an Anytone, like this Connect Systems, I've got a Connect System 750. If you got a 750, the 800 won't use the same configuration file. So it drives you crazy. But let me see what Jorge's got that at least get one running. Or was Randy's got? Is Randy on here? No.
Hey, Mark.
You got one?
I've got an 878. I'll tell you the expert on them. I'll tell you the expert on them.
What?
Peter
Randy?
K.
Oh, is he? God, he's always the expert.
He's the ultimate expert on them because he helped me through mine. And,
why is he hiding?
And he is the ultimate expert on the 878s.
Send me put the code plug in the chat.
Well, you would have to ask Peter if it's okay. I got it from him. He had an extensive code plug. It's huge.
He says it's fine.
Peter says in the chat he's fine, so we're good.
Okay.
He says he's busy. He's making lunch.
I will send it to you. It's about 1,000.
1,000.
Yeah, 1,000 different contacts.
I thought you
Oh,
were going to say $1,000. I said, never
No,
mind.
no. It's literally he had when I went through it. It's a lot. I mean, it's a.
yeah. Put it in the file, and I'll put it on the website too, or put it in the chat, because that's a really good thing to start.
Peter just sent another message.
It's already
code
truncated code plug, which means
Yep.
he's got a bigger one.
That's what everybody says.
Oh yeah. He took all his secret frequencies out. I remember what he's talking about.
This is supposed to be a family show. You know that, right?
Yeah.
And you got on me about my Teen Loves comment.
Exactly.
I'll send that one in to you, Mark.
Okay.
But yeah, it's pretty extensive. It covers an awful lot.
But yeah, send that in. That'll be a good starting point for you.
Where do you want me to send it to? Send it to
live or the chat, whatever's easiest. Email to send it to my live account if you want, or
I'll just send it to you. I'll just send it to your email account.
Okay.
It's huge.
Huge.
Yeah, and I added quite a few more to it since then. So
good. 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 All right, Kim, is there anything else you got that's got your head blown up?
That's all I can think of, and during this 5-minute period. But yeah, I'll come up with another one.
Well, that's a good start on that. That's a good little radio. Everybody that has one loves it.
Yeah, if I can get it to work, that'd be great.
All right, we'll get it to work. We'll get it to work for you.
Yeah, that sounds good.
We'll get it to work for you.
That is one of the more challenging projects you'll have as a ham.
Yeah.
Is getting your DMR cooking. HF will be so easy afterwards.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
HF's gonna be easier.
Oh yeah, now that I got the GD77, it's all programmed up for OKC. Now I got to get them programmed for Indy.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, you know what I did? I just bypassed the whole thing and I programmed it for my hotspot. Be done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, John, I haven't broke down and bought one yet, but that may have to happen.
Yeah. Do you have decent repeaters in Indy?
No.
All the call signs have like 0s or 9s in them. 9s, I guess, right?
Yeah, they're 9s. Yeah, they're those 9s. I kept my 0. I gotta love don't look back as a call sign. But
Well, see, I drive.
Honestly,
south.
I haven't done much, but I'll tell you what, that nice long whip that comes with the GD77, I may be getting on the analog repeaters very shortly.
Yeah. Well,
I like that.
I'm sure you could do that. Well, at least a couple of them. But yeah, see, I head south, and there's a Columbus repeater, and then there's a Seymour repeater, and I can get into the Nashville repeater, but DMR is just not there. It's just not there anymore.
Yeah,
it used to be a Scipio repeater, but that was a DMR repeater. But yeah, it went up and went down and went up and went down. I don't even know anymore. So I don't do much DMR when I go to work.
Yeah, I probably ought to just get my analog scanner or analog handheld and put the sucker on scan and let it run over a couple of evenings and see what I come up with.
Yeah.
And see which repeaters actually have activity.
Yep.
Yeah. Good luck with that too.
By the way, I'm gonna step in here just talking about the DMR radios, the HTs. I was looking at a product today actually that I thought was kind of interesting. It's a BTEC U25D. It's a DMR amplifier. Kind of interesting.
Is that 50 watt or 25 watt amplifier?
Mm-hmm. It'll do up to 50 with 5 watt in.
Yeah.
That's a question I actually meant to bring up was, will DMR work fine with a Class C amp, or does it need something different?
What you'll see is that it does 30 milliseconds bursts. So if the amplifier is quick enough on off, it can work. I've never seen anybody.
Okay, so you'd be better off with something with either a hardwired PTT, a quick turnaround, or a really long delay. So the first time it transmits, it misses it, but the next time it gets it.
Well, I guess the idea is you're wanting to listen though during the DIT. There's two 30-millisecond time slots, and you transmit on yours and you listen on the second one, and then there's some data in there, and then you do a 30 millisecond, and back off. So if you listen, if you key your radio and listen on another UHF transmitter, you'll hear just the transmitter coming on and off.
Yeah, because it's TDMA.
Okay.
It's TDMA.
Yeah. For a radar tech, 30 milliseconds is a long ass time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm used to dealing with 1 microsecond pulses.
Yeah, but as your good.
Thank you for the explanation. That's perfect.
Yeah. So that's the amplifiers are kind of a little tough on them because you have to have that capability. So I don't know. They made some, but I've never seen anybody use one. Has anybody used a DMR amplifier? I don't.
Yeah.
Well, I see that I got the one here that Mark was talking about.
That might explain why DMR radios seem to be a little more expensive than I think they should be too.
Well, and they can get it. That's the other thing.
Well, yeah, because P25 you don't have that issue.
Is that
you would on the new TDMA ones?
TDMA. Yeah, I was gonna say
P25 is expensive because it's a batwing protocol. We understand that.
No, Tate's not Motorola. P25.
P25 is the standard.
Yeah, and Tate, EFJs. Well, I don't know about Tate's, but I know EFJs are certainly pricey too. So I've got several.
Yeah, they're owned by JVC Kenwood now. JVC Kenwood owns.
Right, exactly. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. Getting back to the DMR, yeah, what was the U25D? Was it U-25D? I'm trying to look it up.
U25D, just BTEC U25D.
It's on my screen.
BTEC, B as in Boyd. BTEC.
Roger, thank you.
U25D. Yeah, Mark's got it shown right there on the screen.
In the chat too. I don't know anything about it. Do you know anything about it, Mark?
Oh, geez, you can buy it on Amazon.
I just read about it. Read about it today. I read all of it would do and what it wouldn't do and that kind of stuff, and sounded kind of interesting.
But does this do?
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know whether it'd be an advantage to having that or not. If you were looking to try to connect to certain, I say stations. I guess that's the wrong term. Repeaters further out than your normal DMR HT would do.
Yeah, I don't know. My attitude is if you're going to do that, go buy you a 25 watt or 50 watt radio and
or an antenna.
Yeah, better antenna. There you go. Yeah.
Hey guys, I gotta go.
Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Yes, thank you. You too.
And we're not doing a party weekend happy hour on Friday?
Ham happy hour for OU? No, not on Friday.
Here's just before you leave, here's the other t-shirts you got.
AV Club. Awesome. Awesome.
So whose wife teaches 8th grade middle school, huh?
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya, Peter.
Merry Christmas, Peter.
What a deal.
Yeah, I was having a look at that BTEC amp on Amazon, and looks like they got multiple models for VHF, UHF. And as Mark mentioned, the turnaround time may be in question, so that's interesting to know. Would be interesting to know.
Yeah, and some of those, what they say early on, this has been 3 years ago, when people were trying to use tube amplifiers, whatever it was. The problem is if you don't get your signal turned off in time, the guy who's transmitting on the second time slice gets covered up by your honking radio.
Yep.
And you break up, you chew up both time slices if you're not careful.
I finally decided against that particular unit. I figured I'd save up my nickels and dime and just get the Bridgecom's 578 mobile. It'll do what I want to do as far as getting out that far. Like Peter said, get the right antenna for it too.
Yeah.
Well, frankly, you get any antenna with a handheld, you get out.
Yeah.
Well, this one here is a mobile unit, base mobile. The 578, if I decide to get it, it's a step up.
Well, again, and you can get a 35 watt radio for maybe a little bit more, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Bridgecom being based in Kansas City, admittedly the radios are made overseas, but I have run into the Bridgecom folks quite a few times. They're very knowledgeable. They know what they're doing. They apparently, I won't say they designed it, but they certainly engineered it. All their radios very nicely. Actually, their rack mount repeaters are basically two mobiles with some interfacing equipment in a rack mount chassis.
So is Motorola's is the other half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I got my Anytone 878s from Bridgecom.
Yeah,
that's why I've been looking at their 578.
Yeah, that Anytone. Randy's another one that's got a bunch of stuff. Randy McGuckin has a bunch of Anytones. I think he's got a handheld and a mobile, and he just loved them since day one. Who else has got stuff that's going? Peter, Bill Lockett hadn't said anything. What's Bill doing? You're just hiding in there? Hiding in the woods?
Yep, that's what I'm doing. Hiding away.
Good. Good.
I figured I'd raise the quality of the meeting by being hidden.
Yeah. Face for radio.
Oh, and as a side note, I found a comparison chart for all the BTEC amps, and it does say that their VHF 25D and their UHF 25D are DMR compatible.
There you go. That's the answer.
So they claim.
Oh, I'm going to say they will. I mean, if they say it, if they know enough to know that it's a problem, they will not lie about it.
Yeah, they say the regular V25 and the U25 are not, but the V25D and the U25D are. So we'll see.
There's your answer. There's your answer. So what did I have listed here? I did not have the D. I had the V25.
Yeah, I was looking at the U25D.
Cool.
Yeah, I just posted that link to the chat that I was looking at. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, almost to about halfway down the page. Let's say scrolling to the bottom of anything on Amazon will take you off into no man's land. But
there it is. Oh yeah. There you go.
Now if they make a dual band VU for twice the money, I'd be in.
That'd be nice.
Nothing can be that simple.
Oh no, it never is. Well,
again, you might as well.
Then again, there's nothing you can't do with a couple of couplers and combiners.
Again, why not just go to a mobile and be done with it?
Yeah, that's what I finally decided to do.
Sing it, sister. I'm with you, John. That's what I finally turned around. I'm looking at my CS 800D right now. Looking at me.
Yeah, I remember when you got that radio.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden 50 of them showed up the next day.
Right.
Hey, you try it. See if it's good. Yeah.
You got a good deal on that, if I remember.
Oh, that's right. I did.
Remember?
Yeah, there was some. Yeah.
We were sitting there
I
at a
bought-
Zoom meeting one night, and you looked that up, and you decided to get one, and before you know it, everybody wanted one.
Yeah, there was a deal. There was a deal that they were just going to put out the new ones or something, and we got a really smoking deal on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've loved it. It's worked out great for me. I still have to fix it. I've got the SCARS UHF repeater programmed incorrectly, because every time I try to get on the UHF siren net on Saturdays, nobody ever hears me. And it's like, dang it, I forgot to reprogram it. And it's like 6 or 8 times I've done that now. So one of these days, I'll fix it up.
Yeah, you go hide and work on radios for a while.
Yep. So what else we got going up there? Peter's probably trying to get stuff done because we did our little Jupiter thing last night. Did anybody see the Jupiter Saturn function junction conjunction?
Oh
thing?
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
With binoculars, but that's all. But it's still pretty cool.
No, we had too much haze down here for it.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
We had Peter and I had this channel up last night. It's on the SCARS channel. w5nor.org/sky is a shortcut for it. But we hooked up his telescopes to some NTSC encoders, and then shot out a stream. We had about 100 people looking at about 10 different scopes, and there's the 2 on the screen in that spiffy Jupiter in the top left. And if you look carefully, I don't know if it's going to come through on Zoom, but there's some little bitty blips at the above the Jupiter and below Jupiter, which are 2 of the moons, and then Saturn sitting off here to the right. That's got the rings floating around it. So that was the big thing in person. We had about 100 folks online, and we had about 100 folks that were in person there, and that was kind of neat.
Cool.
It was kind of neat. I know other parts of I know California was socked in with fog, and I guess cloudy in Indianapolis. But that was.
Mark, you and Peter were out pretty much in the woods, weren't you?
We were actually not. We were at the high school at the Norman North is where we were at.
Wow. Because I know a lot of people I talked to yesterday said, man, they had to go heading driving out towards Clinton just to get out in, middle of nowhere where it was real dark to see all that good.
Yeah, it was pretty bright. I mean, you can see it. Didn't Ken say he used binoculars?
Yeah.
It wasn't quite as good as that, but
no,
it was still cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it helped a lot. The binoculars helped quite a bit.
There's the moons. You can see the Jupiter moons going up and above Jupiter there for a little bit. We had the cool thing was we had the both of these Peter had 2 projectors. One of them was the moon, and one of them was the Jupiter or the stream that we had from our YouTube stream. And the people would stand up in front of on the side of the building, and they would stand up against the moon picture, and then take a picture as if they were on the moon. It was kind of cool to watch a bunch of people doing that. Gee, Ma, I'm on the moon. The biggest problem was that you couldn't really get the scopes sighted incorrectly, because when we set up, it was still daylight, and it was hard to get a track on positions, and hadn't thought about that getting set up early caused grief. So Peter had to keep chasing it all night long. Let's see. Ron Lespiza sent a message that said that there was a green spot on the moon. He wanted to know if there's a controversy going on. I'm gonna have to go look at that. 3918, I think is what he said.
It's the cheese. It's starting to rot.
I was thinking it's a Martian that came over here to visit the moon.
Honestly, you think an alien would come over to this planet?
Elon Musk was going to go visit Mars, so he's going to go check him out on the moon first. I don't know what he's...
I heard about that green spot on the moon. The last theory I heard was that the Chinese, when they went to the moon to get their samples,
yeah,
they left a structure on the moon when it took off, and that's the green thing you see.
See, he said there's something over here, and I don't see it. So I don't. Maybe he was talking to the joke side of this. Well, there's Wayne Dutton coming in. Conjunction. Oh, good. Peter just sent the pictures that we did last night. That'll be fun. Let's go get some of those. There's Uncle Wayne.
Hey, peeps.
There he is.
Hey.
So what's the topic of discussion?
Right now, we were talking about the big conjunction from last night.
The
And
conjunction.
some mold on the moon.
What's your function?
Yeah. Conjunction, junction. What's your function? Oh, he got some good pictures. Dang it, that thing takes some really low light pictures. Let me get a screenshot here. What do you know, Wayne? You got it? Would you get everything all set up?
No, I keep coming up against obstacles. Let's just say that I've had to move the location of where I want my antenna a couple of times.
Oh no!
But today I was digging holes. I bought my concrete. Today I was digging holes. I got 3 of them dug.
Oh, good.
They're 12 inches in diameter by 3 foot deep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a workout for an old guy like me.
Oh, wow.
Especially in this old gummy clay stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry. So here's something.
There's our displays.
So who can tell me what this is?
Hear anything?
Triangle?
An antenna.
Now I do.
All right, put your headset on.
Now I do.
What is it, Wayne?
Well, you were right. It is a triangle. You know the thing about this triangle? It's an equilateral triangle, means that all 3 sides are the same length.
Right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Hey. So
it probably is. I didn't cut it.
Every one of these points are exactly 120 degrees apart.
Uh-huh.
So how could you use that for ham radio?
For setting up your guy wires.
I was going to say, making a tripod.
Absolutely. I actually built that template to show me where to put my guy lines.
Good.
Yeah, what can I say? I'm an engineer.
Give John the cigar.
There you go. There you go.
I use a clock face.
What?
That would work too.
Yeah, that would work too.
I started out using a piece of paper with a circle drawn on it, divided in thirds. But the wind kind of blowed the paper around, you know. So.
It's Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a lot of paper to get it out to what do you need, 120 feet away.
Well, yeah, you know.
So I set that thing. It's got a hole in the middle. And I set that where my antenna is going to go. And then underneath it is a hole where once I put it in the right direction, I put a set nail in there so it doesn't move.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And then I get my tape measure and I go 30 feet in all three directions. That's where I set my poles.
There you
There you
go.
go.
At least that's the plan.
Could you use a satellite view of your property?
I have looked at a lot of satellite views of my property. The problems with the satellite views is that it doesn't always show where my septic lines run.
Well, you can draw those on.
Yeah. That's why, so when I started digging one hole, I got down about 2 feet and it hit something and water started bubbling up. And I'm like,
what?
Now I live in the country, so I'm not on city water. So
what'd you hit?
Black gold.
I hit the very end of my septic line. So
Black gold.
That's why you had to move
Black That's great.
brown gold. Brown gold.
Fortunately, it was way out at the end. So then I just poured a bag of concrete on top of it to seal it back up.
It'll buff out.
And then moved my antenna over some. Oh, well. One of those things. One of these days, I might actually get an antenna up, you know.
You got good weather for it.
I know. I mean, it's supposed to get down to like 27 tomorrow night, and I need to get this concrete poured before then. But I think...
Wayne, I got a little quick story for you if it'll make you feel better.
Lay it on me.
I was in Ohio at Lorain County Airport, and there was a, I don't know, might have been MetLife or one of the other companies that fly the little small to medium-sized blimps. Not the big Goodyear sized blimps, but they were bringing one in, and they went to whack in an anchor post for that thing. Doggone if they didn't hit the whole the only freaking power line in a 4-acre field. Knocked out power to the neighborhood and the airport.
Oh, but there were some fireworks.
Yeah, the transformer went kablooey. Big time.
Oh, wow.
Went boom.
Yeah.
Wow.
They hit it with a backhoe? Or did they hit it with a backhoe?
No, they were just pounding in a. They might have been using power tools. I don't remember because I wasn't actually. This was Civil Air Patrol, and we were in a formation in a meeting, and we were actually looking the other way. But as soon as that thing blew up, everybody turned around.
Everybody looked.
That was interesting. It was one of those, one in a million shot. I mean, what's the chance that you're actually going to hit a power line going through that field? Of course, a call to 811 would have saved them a lot of trouble.
Oh, something. Those guys, yeah. You realize they have a 10-foot variance on either side of their line, right?
Yeah, but this wasn't marked at all.
That means you're liable.
It doesn't mean anything.
Ditch Witch has a big field up there by Perry that they use to test trenchers, and one of their guys hit a gas line and blew himself up about 10 years ago.
Yeah,
I think they'd know where it was out there.
Wow. They had one of my electrical company students was doing a remodel at one of the Oklahoma City hospitals about 10 years ago, and they put a little tent building out on the parking lot where they worked out of, and somebody went out and said, okay, here we got us a temporary setup, drive a ground rod. So they took a ground rod and drove it straight through a 9600 volt transmission line right next to the hospital.
It was grounded.
It was grounded. And of course it was the line after the generator, so they lost the whole power to the building.
But, here in Oklahoma, they got you call 811, call Okie, and they'll come out and they'll mark your lines. But they tell you they have a 2 feet variance on each side. Let me tell you, they lie.
No, it's more like 10.
Well, officially it's 2.
One of my previous jobs, I was operating a backhoe, and I was 3 feet away from his mark, and I still grabbed one of those big telephone 24 pair, you know, and I knocked out everybody's telephone and DSL and everything for blocks.
The good news is if you're 2 foot and 1 inch away from the mark, your company wasn't liable.
Yep, that's the good news.
That's the good news.
Well, I just had an LP tank dropped at my house and plumbed in today, and we did have it marked. Especially the main power feed and the Spectrum, which is my internet provider. The guy hand dug the entire thing. He said he found 4. I expected him to find 2 because I know Spectrum had rerun the cable at least once. He found 4 sets of cable lines to the house. Now, the one that was marked was obviously the live one, but
that's good.
He's like, yeah, I found 4 more. Is your internet still, or found 3 more? Is your internet still working? Yep, it's good.
Well, we watched. They ran new fiber to our plant, and they had marked this 10-foot channel. Well, these people with the borer went outside that channel, ran down and pulled up like 50 foot of fiber that was running outside the channel. Oh yeah, knocked everything in the whole plant, in the whole area, knocked out on the internet. Completely not.
I mean, it's amazing cutting 1 strand of fiber, how much that'll even knock out.
Oh yeah. Well, see, the reason why they were putting that fiber in was it was going to be our backup.
Yeah,
the irony, I'm telling you.
Well, those temporary backups tend to become primary over time.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So when they installed my storm shelter a few months ago,
Nice.
The guy, I showed the guy, I said, you see this right here? See this mark? That's my fiber. And I said, how much do you need to stay away? He says, at least 3 foot. I said, take 4.
I always love it's supposed to be 2 foot below. How come I only found it at 6 inches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my all these cable lines we found were about 3-4 inches down.
Yeah.
Barely covered by grass.
Going out the back of my house, my fiber goes one way to the east, and my electricity's buried and goes off to the west. So it makes it pretty interesting when I decide to pour some concrete slabs for my outbuildings. I got to plan accordingly because I don't want them to come tearing up my slab in case something goes wrong with the lines.
Hey, Sam, hold that up again. Don't turn it vertical.
A little print that I was doing.
Nice.
My hot swap did not work, but you know, the good news is this was supposed to be 1 inch thick. It ends up being 7/8 before it messed up, but so it'll work.
What is it?
This is a ring to go around a duplex set of switches to bring them out from the wall. So I have room for wires and.
Oh yeah.
Do you use a 3D printer on that?
You know they sell those at Lowe's, right?
Not like that. No, they've got these little straight ones that don't come out to the edges of the plate, and they're actually made when your box is back in the wall. Like if you put another layer of sheetrock on, that's what they're really made for, not for coming out from the wall.
Oh, okay.
So it's only one company that makes. Leviton makes a single for like a GCFI, but nobody that I've found makes a double or a triple. So I found a printer thing, and I print my own.
Right. There you go. I thought they made doubles. Like for some reason, I thought they Leviton made doubles too, but I could be wrong. So I finally bit the bullet. Go ahead.
No, I've looked. If you find one, send me an email.
I will.
Easier than printing them, but
So you're going around the house now, Sam, looking for things to print, right?
I don't have to look. And I am married, so there's a plethora of stuff, but, especially with Christmas.
Yeah, Sam, the problem I'm having in this house, believe it or not, is in most cases they've left too much wire in the boxes.
Okay.
And they've got it jammed in there, and every time I go into a box to upgrade or replace a fixture, I end up whacking about 1.5 inches off the wires and rewire nutting it and tucking it back cleanly in the boxes, which I guess too much is better than not enough. But
Well, definitely, and you get into like some of these home automation switches have their own little wire leads, and others are you have just a hole you plug it in and tighten the screw down. So having that extra wire is good depending on what you're putting in there. But yeah, I've got my house. I can turn things on and off all over the place. Not everything. But.
using the old, is there I presume there's an improvement on the old 24 volt low voltage technology that we had back in the 80s?
Yeah, there was X10, which
X10
actually transmitted over the electric lines. And if anybody would like a whole box of X10, I'd be glad to give it to you. The newer technology is called Z-Wave, and Z-Wave is basically a mesh network. Each switch or each receptacle is actually a receiver and a transmitter. And X10 transmitted over your electric lines, and it was pretty good. I did that at my other house, and I did it here for a little while, but I don't know. It's also problematic if it sends a command at the same time your refrigerator kicks on. That surge from the refrigerator will drown the X10 signal. It'll kill it. So.
Well, I was thinking a lot older than that, back to the old momentary rocker switches, the 24 volt stuff back in actually, I shouldn't say 80s, probably late 70s. And then went to a relay panel in your basement that turned everything off and on. It was very high tech for its time, but a lot of wires.
I dreamed about those, but back then I couldn't afford any of it, so just dreamed it. I'm glad I didn't now. So.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine that they had built a new house and his dad had put that in. The problem is on you had about like 8 switches on each panel, but only 1 or 2 of them he actually had hooked up. So it was perhaps not as good as advertised, or not as convenient.
Yeah. Are you actually using X10 hardware, Sam? Is that X10 brand stuff, or what are you using for controlling?
I'm in Z-Wave now, and I've got all sorts of several different companies I use. Jasco is one of my favorites. They're actually out of Edmond. Switches and stuff. They have really good stuff and great warranty. I had a switch go bad a little while back, and I called them up, and they just sent me a new one. Said, "What's your address?" Boom, got a new one. So, a couple days later. But
I don't know if I could get on without all that technology. I got an argument with my Google Assistant on my phone today and told it specifically where to go, and it came back. It came back and apologized that I was upset and tried to make amends.
My Alexa the other day knew my name, and I'm really not sure. I said something, and she goes, "Well, thank you, Sam," or something like that. And I'm like, my wife looked at me, and I looked at her, and well, we're having a thing on the side. What can I say? But
my friend named his Alexa Skynet.
Alexa Skynet.
Because she listens to everything you do and say.
Well, that's what I really think. That's what I think Google is.
And this is why I do not have an Alexa.
Yeah, I haven't gotten hooked on that either. but I do want to do some automation stuff, and I left the bus when X10 was going downhill and there was nothing to replace it. So you're saying Z-Wave is, what about Zigbee versus Z-Wave Go?
Really similar. You know, it just depends on what kind of controller. Zigbee, there's not nearly as many different controllers and stuff like, you know, not as many companies making Zigbee stuff. So I really haven't paid much attention. I went with Z-Wave early on. And it's I use a controller called a Vera, V-E-R-A, and really like it. But,
and is that, how does that interface? How does the Vera interface? With
well,
you?
It interfaces with me through the internet, basically. I mean, it's got it gets plugged into the network, and then I can go on my phone or my computer and go in there and program it. It's basically a little Linux box. Pretty sure it's Linux inside. Too reliable to be Windows.
And what do you have it set up with programs to do things, or do you do it like off a phone? What do you end up using, I guess is my way to ask. I know it can do, but what do you actually end up using?
Well, on a normal basis, you know, it's like every morning at 5 o'clock, this string of lights in our living room comes on because my wife's getting up and gives her a little light in there. You know, I also have, like right now, I've got it turning my Christmas tree lights on and off, and my lights on the outside of the house on and off, and you know, I've got programs for that. You know, I've got all our outside, like our floodlights, porch lights, and I've got it set up where I can hit one button and basically light my outside of my house up like Shea Stadium. You know, if I hear something go bump, I can hit every switch all at the same time just by pushing one button. And I've got an old Vera. I upgraded a year or so back. I've got an old one, Mark. If you want to play with it, I'll be glad to get it to you sometime.
Oh, that'd be fun. I keep wanting to do that, but you know, the technology changed, and X10, like you said, these are all, or the X10 had the problem with the hit and miss depending on local noise, like you said, the refrigerator and other stuff. The Z-Wave pretty reliable?
Very reliable. Now, the only problem I've had is like from, you know, you have to have devices kind of across your house, depending on how big your house is, so that because it forms a mesh network, and you send a signal, let's say you send a signal to the garage, it may not go directly to the garage from wherever you are. It may jump 2 or 3 switches to get there. So you've got to have, I ended up having to put it a switch where I really didn't care if I had a switch, just to get to my garage, honestly. And it's just a little mesh network. It's pretty cool though.
So what's the range of those little transmitter repeaters? Do you know what it uses?
You know, I really don't know what their range is. I built a concrete house.
Oh.
Okay.
On purpose.
Yes, on purpose. My house is made of concrete, and that makes, I mean, that gives Wi-Fi, that gives all this stuff just a whole new meaning, you know, because you know, like to get from my bedroom to the garage, you have to go through like 3 concrete walls, or maybe 4. I'd have to count, you know, for something to get there.
Presumably with rebar or remesh in them, right?
Oh yeah, lots of rebar.
Yeah.
Actually,
I just want to know, go with the chain link fence motif.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a Faraday cage, but it's close. You know?
Do you know what protocol those uses? I mean, you know what? Are they like Bluetooth, or are they actual what run over?
No, it's a radio frequency. You know, I can't remember.
I think it's 910, isn't it? 915. I think it's in that range, if I remember.
Gosh, I can't remember. There's trying to think where that is, but I mean there's a what's called a Z-Wave consortium the group that all the manufacturers get together and to make sure that they're all using the same protocols and it's it's the first switches I put in. If you turned the switch on manually, the controller didn't know that it was on. And
yeah.
now the later ones, when you turn them on, they signal the controller and say, "Hey, I'm on," so the controller knows. And you can set up scenes. You can say, "Okay, I'm going to hit this light switch. When I hit this light switch, I want this and this and this to happen. I want these lights to dim. I want." If you had a theater room, you can do all sorts of stuff. But, like I say, I've got one switch I can hit that turns on all my outside lights. It signals all those other switches and lights up the house. And then I wrote a scene. I wrote a scene that at midnight it shuts off all those lights because I came back from vacation one time and found all my outside lights on, and my electric bill was like $300. So,
whoops.
So I wrote a scene that every night at midnight it turns all the lights on. If they're
no matter what I told you, just shut them all off now.
Yep. Yeah, I probably just so if you're gonna break into my house, 1 minute till midnight's good. The lights will only be on for a minute.
That's exactly what a smart burglar would do, is plan that. Yeah.
You can get water detectors. Sirens. I mean,
I didn't think about inputs.
Yeah, there's so much stuff.
Here's Z-Wave shows in US is 908 megahertz and 916 megahertz.
Is it 916 the same as the weather stations or the one? Yeah.
That's unlicensed.
Yeah.
God love you, because everybody's going to interfere with you. So it's up at 900 megahertz.
I've got a big 240 Z-Wave switch that I put on my well pump circuit, and I've got water detectors like in where my hot water heater is and stuff like that. And if they detect,
that's cool.
If they detect water, they just turn off that switch. They make valves, but that doesn't seem as reliable to me as just kill the power to the pump.
Yeah, well, you got a well, so it doesn't matter. If you had if you're in a house or in a city, you'd have to have a valve.
Yeah, right.
That's a really damn good idea.
That is. That's why I ask people that use these, because I got a whole bunch of stupid ideas, but nothing exciting.
Because I have a well too. I also have I have a boosted septic system, and I have a lift pump from the basement to the outside.
I have that too.
Cut those off, but
I've got that too. I've got a lift pump from my basement that pumps up to my septic, but I don't know. I don't care. I don't know what could really cause, unless that pipe broke.
Right, but I get the idea of the water sensor either cutting off your water or at least letting you know what's going on. And maybe
it cuts off my water, and then the controller sends me an email and says, "You got a problem here, dude. You better come over."
You have any lock stuff set up?
They make Schlage makes a really nice door lock, and I think Kwikset has one also that are Z-Wave. But I like what I've got, and I don't know. There's it might be nice when I worked, if the plumber called and said, "Hey, I'm at your house," if I could push the button and unlock the door for him. But that happens so infrequently, and so I don't know, just never spent the money on them. But you can get plug-in, things that plug into the receptacle. You can get receptacles themselves. I tend to like the ones that plug in, because you can move them around. And but switches, I use a lot of switches. And then when I go away, I've got scripts written that make it look like we're home.
Yeah.
You can get barking dogs. You can get this thing will make a dog sound like a dog barking. I mean, it's amazing what's out there. Do
you have an interface to your audio or stereo or any of that video stuff?
No. Never done that.
That doesn't, yeah, it doesn't appeal to me too much either. No.
You know, when I built this house, I ran conduit from every room, from a box in every room up into the attic, and I was going to put in speakers in the ceiling and put in, you know, volume controls in every room. And gosh, now with the phones and why, you know, I mean, I play most of my music through my iPhone, so
yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and look at those again.
So, should I get a tri-band beam or a mono?
What are you wanting to do with it, Mike?
Thanks for
Don't
saving me
ask
trouble.
me the questions. I'm asking you guys the questions.
Well, it's your money. I'd get a tri-band.
Well, that would be the less expensive route to go, wouldn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
Rather than a beam for 10, a beam for 20.
Oh,
I don't
3 monos.
I don't know that I'd be on 15.
Oh, you're talking, yeah. That's not the way you said it. It was like 1 or 3, and we were going to go for 3, you know.
No, you always you don't want to set up 3 different antennas on the same tower.
No.
So you're going to build 3 towers?
No. So I should get a tri-band.
There you go. Right. I led you to the water and you did not jump in. Good boy.
Get a step IR.
Oh my God, don't do that. Do not do that. I'm rebuilding that one and they are the cheapest pieces of crap. Oof.
My problem is going to be getting it from building it to somehow the little small space I've got to get it over to the tower to haul it up.
There's one company, I think it may be a Mosley or whatever, that to do 10, 15, 20, and you can get a 40-meter add-on to it. That would be, if I had the money, that would be my preference.
Yeah, I saw one. Where did I see it? I don't remember where I saw it, but yeah, there was a picture of one. It was like an A3 Cushcraft.
A3S is a Cushcraft.
Yeah, A3S, the junior or something, but somebody had a 40 kid on it. That looked nice.
My dad had an A3S, and it was the regular A3S, and he said it worked pretty good.
Mike, how much space do you have to work with?
Well, I can put it out in my driveway, but to get to the tower, which is on the side of the house, from the side of the house, I've got about 10 feet, and then it's forest.
Well, you just spin it vertical.
Yeah, that's what I thought. How do I get over there? But I can put it on end and go over and then up. So I'll have someone.
Or can you build it on the roof?
Myself.
Can you build it on the roof?
No, it's too steep for that. But yeah, I think
a crane
up on its butt end.
Yeah, just hold it.
I'll let you know.
Hold it by the boom and walk it through there. That's the biggest problem. I helped Ed put up his what are those? Not the cobweb, the hex beam. Hex beam. And we had to thread it around a power line and a neighbor's bird feeder and a clothesline. And I was the guy holding it, and Ed was running circles around there, unhooking it from stuff that I'd catch it on as we got it up to the roof. Once we got it on the roof, it was like, whoo, that's a lot easier.
All right. So yeah, what's the is that the 12-foot boom on the A3S or?
It says turning radius is 15.5 feet. Boom diameter, we don't care about that.
Boom length, 14 feet. There it is. Okay.
There you go.
And the longest element is 27 feet. You know, if I sat it on its end, on its tip, it would reach nearly the top of the tower. It's going to look funny up there.
Yeah.
Hex beam's only 11 feet radius.
I've seen hex beams not survive wind and stuff, and they don't look pretty.
Ed's went through that whole ice storm. Carl's did. You didn't have any problem, did you?
No.
Ed doesn't live in Michigan.
No,
Yeah,
it's
but that's
been through 100-mile-an-hour winds. It's been had an inch of ice built up.
Well, I don't want a hex beam.
okay. There's the right answer. I was thinking that hex might be a good thing for you for what you're doing, but
you think so?
Why not?
Plus, it's 6 bands.
I mean, Carl, what do you think of yours? You've had one.
Oh, I love it. I've talked all over the world.
What's the diameter?
22 feet diameter, 11 off the pole.
11 each way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd never get that through my little narrow area.
Well, if it's turned sideways, it's only about, well, the whole antenna, if it's built, is like 5 foot by 11 foot.
11-foot radius or diameter.
Radius.
Then.
No, it's 22 foot across. If you're looking at the one I got on the screen, it's 22 foot left to right.
So I don't see how I could get it around that narrow alleyway.
From the bottom to the top is the 5 foot he's talking about.
I know, but I couldn't turn it. I couldn't turn it this way because I couldn't hold it and push it.
We can't.
It would
see
drag
what your
its
problem is.
spread.
Yeah.
It would drag its spreaders. Woo.
Yeah, that would. If that limits you, then you have a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like hex beams, but Carl's yours looks good.
I don't. I think they're about the ugliest antenna that you could possibly put up, but
yeah,
they're very efficient for what they are.
But they work, huh?
It's a two element beam.
Yeah.
You know, the 6 bands.
I think they just kind of disappear.
They don't tell you, but they also work on 2 meter and 440, but they don't advertise that.
And they look hard to build.
There's videos out there of people putting them together in about 30 minutes from start to finish.
Yeah. That wouldn't be me.
Or me either. But in reality, if you don't count painting the spreaders, it took me, I don't know, probably 2 hours to get it all together. But I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to stuff like that, getting everything lined up properly.
What about tuning?
It was pretty much below 1.2 everywhere.
Right out of the box?
Yeah. There is no tuning.
What's your rotor?
I've got a tail twister 2, which is way overkill because they only weigh about 25 pounds. Well, for the KIO hex beam, which I recommend, they're about 25 pounds, and a small TV rotor seems to work. A lot of people say that that's what they're using, and the smallest rotor you can get will work.
Yeah, and I think I mean, in putting up Ed's, his was not a big rotor, whatever he got on it, and it's got an nice even wind loading, so I don't think you'll have any torque on there. And he's never had any problem with it. When we put it up,
I will vouch for your signal, Carl, because I did hear you when Bill and Mike and I were trying to talk on 20 meters. You were coming in real good. Oh, see, now I'm starting to think. Go ugly early.
There you go.
On the KIO, you have the option of getting ice cords, and for your area, if you get a lot of ice and snow, definitely get the ice cords.
Yep, Ed's got that. He said that saved his bacon.
We don't get ice. We don't get ice much.
And there is a secret.
KIO and
there's a secret.
A4KIO.com.
There's a secret to putting it together. You just like in the instructions, you leave everything a little bit loose, and it acts like the tree branches, and the wind will allow everything to around in the flex, but it doesn't break it over.
Okay. Well, if I may go that route, if I can figure out how to get it from where I put it together over to the tower.
I hook.
I might rent a bucket truck.
Oh, there you go. Can you get one? I mean, can you do that? Would that help you?
Sure.
I mean, can you get one in place? I guess what I'm saying is.
Enough to probably get it over to. Yeah, I think so. I had a bucket truck guy come over and cut a big oak tree down, and he was up in the air about 8,000 feet.
Yeah, that'd do it. Because if he could just bring it up there and plop it up to you at the top of the tower, if you can get enough side reach on it, that would make it easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would the radio?
All right, stuff to think about.
Would the radios be very close to your radio room?
The radials?
Yeah, the antenna. Would it be very close to where your transmitter is?
No.
It's not right underneath it?
No. No. Probably 60 feet away.
Oh, yeah.
Horizontally.
That's good. But you might also consider, they've got some ferrites that you can put on it, or you can coil the coax. And I've done both, and the ferrites are easier and probably work better.
Lots better. Okay. Coiling coax doesn't do much.
No, but it looks nice.
I don't know what all this kind of wads up there, but yeah, well. But yeah, they even show it here as on a push-up mast where you don't even need a tower. And I wouldn't doubt that.
It's salesman propaganda.
No, I wouldn't.
Maybe, especially in Michigan.
I've seen them on little
cheapy masts.
I've seen them on 6-foot tripods on the peaks of roofs too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that one comes with an Armstrong rotor.
Looks like that would catch a lot of wind.
But it's balanced. Yeah, it does. But you're going across the center. It's not like you have an unbalanced load. What we did at Ed's, and I had to argue with Ed, but we used just U-clamps to hold it up to the side of the house on a push-up. His is on a push-up pole. I don't know, probably 10, 12 foot off the ground is a wall mount on that push-up pole. And we kind of left that just as a U-mount and left it kind of loose. And if the wind does blow, it will rotate that thing around, and just has to straighten it up. And he's done that twice now in probably 2 years, that the wind's gotten up big enough that it just kind of rotated on its own. So instead of building up any torque, it just would slowly rotate and dissipate any of that.
I got you. A little U-bolt brake.
Yeah, well, yeah. It didn't break. It just loosened. It just spun.
Brake, B-R-A-K-E.
Oh, break. Got it. You're being clever. That's pretty good.
No.
Yeah, you are. But his has done that same thing, and it's been in a push-up hole for, I don't know, 2 years, and I think twice he's had to spin it. But other than that, it works just great. He's got it up against the side of the house with one wall bracket, and he's done.
But
Well, how much do these heck beams cost?
About 700.
No.
So Ez just has a Armstrong rotor on it, doesn't it? He's
got a rotor. He's got it's a, I don't know, fill in the blank. It's kind of like what Carl said. It's kind of a low, it's not a huge rotor. I don't even remember what it was. I know that he got Dave Derry's, if anybody remembers David Derry. He bought the antenna and the rotor from David. So whatever he had set up, I didn't look at it. I just helped him put it up one day and did all that fun stuff. Went up pretty easy.
So is the rotor at the top of the push-up pole?
Correct.
So when the wind blows it around, he's got to go reset it.
Yeah.
But it's just up at the base, and he just rotates the base. And it's happened twice in 2 years on those big blows.
Well, don't take them all over to the house. That's what I can take over to the house.
It worked out pretty cool. Steve showed up. Hello, Steve Smith. Welcome to the crowd.
Hey, thanks. Glad to be here. It's an interesting conversation. I like listening to you guys. Hey, I did have a question for the group, if you don't mind me interjecting.
Oh, well, we haven't been right all night, so go ahead. Make us keep us on track.
I was reworking my little handy-talky frequencies and channels, and was wondering if there are good or typical frequencies for like local sheriff or police or something like that for 2 meter that people generally use, or have a set list that they recommend for the Oklahoma City, Norman, Moore metro area.
Most of that's up on trunked radios nowadays. Radio Reference is our usually go-to on that. Let's see, radioreference.com something. Oklahoma
KK6BJU. KK6BJU. Enter.
You talking to us, Mike?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're doing digital on the side. You're cheating on us.
Hey, I've got a ton of 160 meters, a bunch of 80s.
Wow. Good for you.
Sorry.
Good for you. I'll put this in the chat link.
Okay.
And that's the Radio Reference is a group out of San Antonio that they rebroadcast all the repeaters and all that kind of good stuff all over the country. But they have frequency lists that they kind of maintain and they watch for. So if you grab a county and you can pick whatever you want, let's see, airports. Where'd it go? That's forums. I don't want to go to forums. So there's frequencies for the air traffic controls, all that good stuff.
And you used a word that I'm not real familiar with, and that's the trunked. What does that mean?
Trunk radio are the ones that are like have you gotten into the DMR? Have you understood what DMR is? Digital.
No.
It's digital signals that are shot to different antennas. So they may be on one frequency for this transmission, and they be on a second frequency for the next transmission. So you have to have a trunked scanner that will be able to pick those things out of the air. They're smart controller kind of devices, if that makes sense. They'll hop you around different frequencies and all that kind of stuff. And most of the EMS or the emergency stuff is on I have it on the screen. Oklahoma City's is on 852.3, and they are on that trunk system. Multi-tac is the kind of key there. It shows them jumping around different digital channels, if you will. But the storm siren activation nets and emergency medical stuff, the EMSA stuff is there. That looks like that's EMS TAC. But that should be something, the 460 range you should be able to get if you want to listen to those. But
I have to have a special radio though
those you should not, because those are for on the UHF band, so they should not be a problem. Police fire should be. Let's see what other stuff that's there. Oh, some police fire stuff for Choctaw, Del City. I don't know where are we at, Steve?
I live in Southwest. I'm at I-240 and Sooner.
Oh, okay. So the airport's kind of your.
I'm just south of Tinker by 2 miles.
Oh, southeast. Okay, southeast. Yeah. Got it. Yeah, and Tinker should have a ton of stuff. I don't know where that would be listed.
There was actually up in the menu was a Tinker Air Force Base.
Was it?
Menu option up top there.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of mutual aids and all kinds of stuff. But radio reference is the place to go lose your mind and see what's out there.
Well, if he's, sorry, may I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead. Tinker Air Force Base.
If you're just south of Tinker, you're probably not far from the rail yard, so there's all the railroad frequencies as well.
Okay. Oh yeah. These are going to be AM. The mode here is P25. That's going to be the digital mode. So you'll see P25, and that means that's not something you can get unless you have a scanner that's built to do that P25. AM is an AM broadcast or AM airport bands, and that's probably something you don't have in a normal. What radio do you have?
Oh, I've got 2 little bow things.
Okay. Yeah, those are going to be FMs is what you're going to be looking
for. I don't think those do AM receive, do they?
No. Not well.
They're FM radios.
Well, they might do the railroad frequencies quite well.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to see if they have.
The railroad frequencies are in the base set. You can go in and select them, selectively remove whatever you don't want.
On the chirp, you mean?
But on the well, when you if you look at the base code, the base load that the radio comes with, if you save that, it has all the railroad radio frequencies in there too. I've set one of mine up like that.
I'll go play with this for a while and see what I can see.
Yeah. There's a radio reference is a good place. That's typical. We got a bunch of scanner guys. They're not on right now, but the radio reference is always a go-to answer on those to get you going, unless you're just looking for one department that you can't find.
No, I was just thinking that there would be a couple of typical ones that people hone in on for emergency use or listening or monitoring.
The sheriff, the sheriff county or Oklahoma County sheriffs are listed. FM narrow. FM means frequency modulation. Narrow, it means narrow band. So any FM narrow or FM should be just fine on the on your radio. This one here is telemetry that shows data going between the command post and the tactical vehicles. So that's something you won't be able to pick up. You'll probably hear a bunch of static and crazy noise, but it won't mean anything to you. So you're looking for FM narrow or FM in that mode column, and you should be able to hear any of those. Now, are they active in your area? Are they close? That's what you just got to figure out.
Roger that. Okay, copy that. Thanks.
Good. What do you do when you're not playing radio?
What I do for a living, or what hobbies, or what?
Yeah, whatever. Hobbies, living.
So I just finished a Bible study. I teach a Bible study on Tuesday nights from 7 to 8 via WhatsApp, and we're changing over to Zoom because we got another person. I do that just part-time, not even part-time, but so I work for the government. I'm a program manager for the Department of Defense. That's what pays the bills right now. So
good.
I've been doing that for 16, 17 years or so.
Oh, good.
About halfway to retirement.
Yeah, isn't that funny how we all look at that? At some point we go, wait a minute. I got 2 years and I'm out of here. Holy cow. Yeah, that's the fun stuff. But yeah, that's a good place to go look, is that radio reference and start building them. I didn't see any railroad on this. Ken, do you know if there's any railroad on the reference? Maybe they don't.
I'm not sure. I got my frequencies from the that, like I said, the base load, and over at the Railway Museum, some of the frequencies that they knew they were working on.
I sent a link. I sent the frequency for railroad. It's channel 30, 160.56 for Central Oklahoma.
Oh, is that all? That's pretty much the big channel for all of them?
Yeah, from way north of Edmond down and way past, Noble. And then that's the hot box frequency as well.
Okay. That's the automated, any of the automated stuff is going to be on that same frequency? The hot boxes and axle counter?
And the chatter and anything else.
Oh, I didn't know that was just all on one. I always give those questions to Phil. Phil sent it. There you go. That's an easy answer. So Central Oklahoma means what? You said north of Edmond down to Pauls Valley, or?
Noble. I forget what it is down Pauls Valley. I think it changes. Peter Laws, he has a whole page on it.
Got it. Okay, cool. So did you rest up after our big astronomy night last night, Peter?
Yeah, I had to unpack and reorganize everything. Quick backup. What happened to your truck? When and what happened?
I was driving home last night at 60th and Robinson. I hit a deer, just smack dead center right in the middle of the road, just right in front of me. All I saw was a corner of my eye. I saw it coming into my headlight, and I hit the brakes, and I was about 35. I was at 50, and then I was about 35, I think, when I hit, and then about 25 after I hit. It punched on the chrome bumper. It punched the bumper, or the mount is now poking through the chrome bumper. Look at that. You say his name and here comes Phil. The chrome bumper bit was pierced by the flange mount on the frame. So everything looks at, I think that the grating is broken. The front grill is broken, and the head hit the hood and bent the front hood, but I think it'll open. And yeah,
Hold
I
on,
hit that.
You waited 600 years, and you had this conjunction as a sign for you, and you still drove into that deer.
I still drove into the deer. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry to hear that, but
yeah,
man.
no,
I know that's why that was the sign. That's the message for the conjunction,
Well, I hadn't thought about the conjunction being the reason that was a problem, but I might have to think about that harder.
Well, better move over to fill in on the on all that. Yeah, Peter lost for all the other stuff, all the scanning stuff. He'll be in the know.
Yeah.
But,
Phil, did you
I'm
know
sure
we were
Phil
talking
knows
about you? Phil's not listening to any of this because he hasn't changed his view. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. No. Oh well, he'll figure us out here in a sec. Hello, Phil. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Hello, Phil.
Oh well. It's
His sound card took a nap.
or he didn't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Come on.
Oh, I got you I got you another update for the dreaded AO91 satellite.
Oh no. Now what?
Well, they, like I said, they discussed it another day, and they finally tried to send numerous different software updates to it to see if they could get it to fire back up or fix whatever the hitch was, try to reset it. They have finally decided that it was damaged somehow, either in one of the solar panels or something, because it's not getting power to it. Last reading they had on power on it was negligible. So they
So it is putting something out. It's just not enough power.
Yeah. So they decided to call it dead. There's not much they can really do with it. They can't bring it, they can't supplement the power somehow, and they don't have a backup to it like they do some of the newer ones. So
yeah.
They call that.
Look at Phil. He's beating on the microphone. He can hear us. We can't hear him. I kind of like this. He's tapping on the microphone. Big dog. Big dog. Well, that's a bummer that they lost that satellite. It's not a good deal. That's not a good deal. Well, anybody else got anything going? Ken's still waiting on getting his happy spiffy QCWX or QCX rating up and running, so that's no fun.
Is anybody doing the 12 Days of Christmas special event?
Oh, that's a good question.
I haven't.
Has anybody heard any of the 12 Days of Christmas people?
Got all of them.
Oh, you do not.
Oh, I do too.
Do you really?
You must be using your hex beam.
Do you really? What were they all on sideband?
Well, that's the only ones I contacted were on sideband, but I think that one of them or more might have been CW.
Any digital? They had really no good information out there about what they were doing.
You know, I didn't try to use that mode, so I don't know if there was any digital or not.
Oh. So you got one, Mike. How about you? You've been watching them, Mike?
I keep forgetting, but I tried to get some today, but I didn't have any luck. I did talk to Switzerland though.
Oh, look at you. The bands are opening up. So are they all on this? It's just there are 12 different guys out there doing their thing. Is that how that works, Carl?
Yeah, well, I don't know how many people that actually do it, but the stations that are doing it, they will switch to different frequencies in different bands. They will change bands. Like there's one guy that does about 5 to 10 minutes on a band, and then he switches to another band, does 5 or 10 minutes, and he did that through 5 or 6 different bands this morning.
He'll tell you he's going over to something else.
Sometimes he would say, and sometimes most of the time he wouldn't. But a good way to find them is to look at something like DX Watch and just watch for people that say that they're on the air.
The guy is K2RYD, Romeo Yankee Delta. He's got a small bit of info on the QRZ page for him.
Yeah, that's what I've got on the screen, but it really doesn't explain how they operate. And what it sounds like is that they just kind of operate.
It's like Route 66.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good idea.
I did see a couple on the DX Watch today, but I couldn't hear them.
So people are spotting them.
Si, senor. I'm sorry, wrong direction. Yeah, eh?
Real cool. Very cool. Very cool. Man, it's a quiet night. Nobody's got anything going. It's everybody getting ready for holidays. Got all that stuff planned.
Well, NORAD has their Santa trackers set up and ready to go.
Ah.
If you go to noradsanta.org,
In the meantime, Carl, how did you get yours up on a tower, your hex?
The pole lays down.
Okay.
And it's a lay down, crank up. It'll go up to 55 feet. But I tried it both ways numerous times, and it does not seem to make any difference at all. Not something that you'd be able to hear between at its lowest setting, which is about 30 feet and 60 feet. There's so it's not worth it to put it up high up in the air. Of course, the highest band or the lowest band is 20 meters. So it's pretty much perfect for at 32 feet.
Yeah, I think that's what Ed's is at, something like that, 25 to 30 feet. He had the same thing, that pushing it up didn't really help him at all. And it just kept it less wind profile, so he kept it down.
Okie doke.
And that $700 was, if you get everything, the ice cords and the everything.
Does that include a rotor?
No.
No.
I have a TV antenna rotor.
Yeah, I think that should be fine. They brag. I mean, a selling point is that you don't need a huge rotor.
Aren't those particular antennas guaranteed against damage, wind damage and all?
I don't know. Let's see what their guarantee shows.
Anyway, that's why David told me he bought one. Dave told.
David Derry?
No.
Claire.
Oh, Claire.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
David was saying the other day that they changed their warranty on them, that it used to be if anything happened to it for 5 years that they would fix it. But then he said the other day that it seemed like it was a lesser amount of time, like 1 year now or something like that, or 2 years. I don't remember now.
I know that played a big deal in him ordering it.
Here's warranty. Let's just see. We warrant the process for 12 months from the date of purchase.
Okay.
I don't know what could really go wrong after, if you got it up in the air. I don't know what could go wrong. I guess it could break a.
Except an ice storm, like what happened to David.
Yeah.
That wasn't exactly what happened to David's. His wasn't. Well, I'll just stop there. But it wasn't the ice that was the biggest issue with David's.
Yeah, it was a mounting pole, I think, is what I remember.
Yeah, the pole, the mounting pole, was bent over so that it was 90 degrees off of what it should have been.
Yeah.
And of course, there's no support when it's sideways like that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
When gravity changes 90 degrees, yeah. Yeah, Ed's was really happy with his, and he did a lot of stuff like nulling out on the local nets, trying to null out people. And, he could really see that there was a null on the back side of the thing, that it really actually acted as a beam. And
I've never heard of anybody who has one that had a bad word to say about him.
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I've got that one to put back together again. That's the only bad word I have is the one from Mike. Who'd you call? Has 3 broken fishing pole rods.
Yeah. Cabela crappy rods.
There you go. Is that what I'm looking for? Crappy rods?
Yeah. You gotta look for crappy rods.
Oh.
They're different than fishing rods or everything.
I need to probably get 3 of those and start doing that. I've got a way to get it up in the air now.
I think he bought 16-foot rods and cut them from the small end so it wouldn't be so flimsy on the end.
Yeah. Crappy Max, crappy rod. Surely they're not $40 a piece, are they?
It used to be. They're about
Look for Shakespeare Wonder Poles, maybe.
Okay.
The 20-footer's $26.
Cabela's brand name rod.
If they cost that much, you might look into actually using the fiberglass poles that KIO uses. There's a company or two out there that sells those individually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think somebody might actually have a package that has all 18.
Do you see it here, Ken? Uh-oh, somebody's got the railroad going. Is that Phil? Did he finally get an audio working? Spinning rod, Shakespeare Wildcat spinning rod, is that what it is?
No, crappie rod.
There's a Black Widow copy rod.
Yeah. Look for I don't know, this was before Cabela's, before Bass Pro bought them out. So there you go. How much is the there's $15 there. Uncle Ben's copy spinning. You wouldn't want that. Copy. Ooh.
Black Widows.
Does that make sense?
That's a Cabela.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes to Bass Pro.
16.6.
These were named Cabela's though.
Well, they have a B&M Black Widow crappie rod.
Yep. Okay, that's on the right spot.
The 20-footer, Lindell's got the 20-foot B&M. It's identical to the Shakespeare. I mean, except for the decal on it. And I think the Black Widow is a little less expensive, and
$25 for a 20-footer is what it shows.
Yeah, but
yeah, what's a 16-footer?
What would you need? 16?
Hold on here. 16.6 is
$11.99. No, that's not it. I'm sorry. Yeah, $20.
$19.99. So you think that's what we're looking at?
Me?
That's a multi-telescopic, flexible fiberglass fishing pole.
Well, measure you got them.
Yeah, I got them.
You got some broken ones, just measure them.
Yeah.
But he got them longer than needed, so it could cut off. They're real flimsy on the end.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, so we're going to save that URL. I'm not a fisherman, so I don't know if this means anything to me. So rods for the
Test 1, 2.
There he is.
Hey.
I'm here.
Hey, Phil.
They've been talking trains all night, Phil. Where you been?
1 minute it works, and then I mess with it all night. Finally get it to work. Next week, start all over.
Oh my.
Mess with it again. I don't know what it is. I think I need to throw the whole thing out.
Well, that's your choice.
I guess it sounds okay, doesn't it?
Sounds lovely. We saw you tapping and all kinds of fun stuff. It's like, that's cool.
Oh, you heard me tapping?
No, I didn't hear you. We saw you.
Oh, okay. I was banging, trying not to interrupt what you were saying.
Nope, we didn't hear a thing except that last bit.
I was tapping on the mic to see if it was coming through.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Here's Uncle Bob. Uncle Bob Rabin's coming through. We were talking about we were asking earlier. Steve was asking. We were talking about radio frequencies for railroads. Do you have any good frequencies? Peter said 160.56 is a.
If you look in radio reference,
that's where we were going.
They will give you many, many different frequencies. I've got almost all of them plugged into my scanner, and I rarely hear anything on any of those odd frequencies. Occasionally, the rail yards will talk to a train coming in to their rail yard, but 99% of traffic is on the main line frequency, which is 160.560 for BNSF on this subdivision. And then that takes it from Ark City, Kansas, down to about Wynnewood.
Ah, okay.
And then the other half of the subdivision is on another frequency that takes it from there down to Gainesville. And then it switches subdivision and it goes on south towards Fort Worth.
Yep.
The other frequency is worth listening to is 160.470. That one is Union Pacific. And Union Pacific's main line comes down through Anthony, Kansas, and Enid, and El Reno, and Chickasha, and goes on down through Lawton and Wichita Falls. Oh. And they have a dispatcher in either Yukon or I think it's Yukon. And it's close enough that you can hear that dispatcher. Yukon or El Reno, one or the other. Anyway, you'll hear the Union Pacific dispatcher. But those two frequencies are 99%. I tried, and Kim Brown tells me that he got some software that will decode the positive train control digital signals that are going into the trains. Well, I'd like to get my hands on that.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to find it.
It's pretty well hidden, and I've talked to him about that.
Yeah.
And kind of keep that under control.
If you're a big shipper, like for instance, if you were General Motors, you would be set up with that software to know when your trains are coming in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, good luck. But positive, the PTC uses GPS to tell the dispatcher exactly where the train is.
Yep.
About the only other thing that you can easily detect is a UHF signal that's like a 1 watt signal that's on the red lamp. They call them put on the back of the train.
Yeah.
The flashing red end device.
Yep.
Which
used to be the caboose light. Yep.
Used to be the caboose light. And all those railroaders that lost their job when the railroad got rid of all the cabooses have another term for the F. And that thing talks to the cab, and the cab can turn it off and on, and it tells the cab what the brake pressure line is at the end of the train. So that gives the engineer some telemetry about what his brake pressure pipe's running. But all you hear is a squirt of data. The thing is, if you hear a squirt of data on that frequency around here, the train is not too far out.
Yeah. And what's that UHF? Do you know?
Oh, 467 point something something something. I
Nice.
don't remember exactly what. I could look here.
Maybe Sonic could find it.
Sonic could probably find it. Oh, he's too busy poking around. He's in the why don't you get all this crap out of my land spot? He discovered that the government's laptop is a HP laptop, and it's got a carbon fiber lid on it, and that carbon fiber lid is warm.
Oh.
So that's his official land spot.
Oh.
Looked like classic Kitty on the keys.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess it, I don't know what kind of display the laptop has, an LED or LCD, but it's on this HP, it's really bright. And of course that warms up the lid. And that carbon fiber is smooth and soft, and he likes laying on it. You just about had it there. You got a list of frequencies going.
Yep, that's off radio reference. That's all the 160s. It's
AAR, American Association of Railroad, channel 35. Scroll down a little bit. 765.
35 is 6350. I don't see any UHF in any of this.
No. But 160.56 is what the main communication is. And then
Channel 30. Channel 30 is what they call it.
Channel 30. Okay. 30, not 35.
Oh, I see.
And then the
470.
The FRED frequency is not an AAR designated frequency. It's just one that they had a license for.
Yeah. Channel 24 is the Union Pacific is what you're.
0.47. Yeah.
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 24.
And I get quite a bit of signal from a disc tone antenna that's 20 foot up on these military poles. I can hear the trains only have like 20 watts because they only, obviously, they know exactly where they need to communicate, which is up and down the railroad.
Yep.
And they talk about 20 miles either direction from where they're at. So they don't need a lot of power.
Hey guys, I'm going to bow out tonight and wish you all a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Sam.
Merry Christmas, Sam.
Merry Christmas, Sam.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Go.
So long. We'll see you.
You talk about that antenna there. The FAA's got a antenna very similar to that. It's kind of a big brother to it. It goes from 2 to 30 megahertz. And it literally sits on the ground. You can touch the bottom of the poles about 5-6 foot up from where all the poles are mounted. So
on a X-beam kind of antenna?
It's not really, they call it a spiral cone, and it's an omni antenna, not a directional antenna. Yeah. There you got it. Somewhere I got pictures of it. The green is what it looks like.
The green, that Up. Oh, I see.
It's
Oh,
just like our hex beams. They get bigger as it goes up.
yeah. Are they just one wire, long wire that's kind of wrapped that way?
I think they got 2 or 3 wires overlapping for different frequency bands.
Got it.
But they're using the Harris HF radio system, and I don't know exactly how, but it uses propagation reports, and it automatically tunes the radio to the best frequency so that the control operator, all they do is pick up a telephone handset and push the mic button and talk. You imagine somebody in FAA headquarters wouldn't know a lot about HF radio.
No.
But they've got them at every center and at every region headquarters, and that's and they can't always talk to Guam, but they've got them out there. Hawaii, Alaska, they go all over.
Huh.
They decided they were going to dispense with it all, but then every once in a while, something comes along and gives them a wake-up call, like 911.
Yeah.
Yep. Had that incident about 5 years ago where a Harris employee that was assigned to work in Chicago Center went nuts. And he took 5 gallons of gasoline and poured it all in the equipment racks in the Harris equipment room, set it on fire. And it burned up the Harris equipment room, which the government was using Harris for all their communication. And that was kind of catastrophic.
Yeah, I remember when that went down. That was a bad deal.
We had a microwave system that went through there from Minneapolis to Chicago, along from Cleveland, Boston, New York, Washington. And we set the microwave system up to carry some of the signals. But then the bigwigs in Washington said, no, you don't. No. Turn that thing back off. We don't want to send a message to Congress that makes them ask, if you can do it yourself, why aren't you doing it yourself? We want to contract this all out. And they literally made us turn it off.
Well, you guys have a Merry Christmas. I'm gonna back out here.
All right.
All right, Mark.
See, have a safe Christmas and enjoy it. And I will see you next Tuesday, guys.
Okay.
See you, Mark.
All right.
Be safe.
We'll see you.
Yep. See you later.
Well, Bob showed up. What's Bob know? Anything good?
No. As my friend says, I'm dumber than dirt.
Is your friend Dirt?
Well, he's a rock, maybe. I don't know. That's what he always says when I ask him. No, I'm still playing around with my wind stuff here.
You getting anywhere?
Well, it's running. I could show it to you if you want to see it. It's up here actually on the screen.
Sure. Hold on. Let me get you.
Let me just get to the right place here.
He's doing graphical wind analysis from GOES data, GOES satellite data coming down. Pictures.
You get the data files off those?
Yeah, these are coming from a direct receive system at University of Wisconsin. Let me know when you want me to share it.
Yeah, go ahead. You got it. Should be anytime.
Oh, I do. Okay.
You should.
Let's see here.
Yeah, the data rate coming out of that thing is just hellacious.
Yeah, I know last time we had the video had trouble keeping up with these loops. Oh, I didn't quite finish my share, did I?
Yeah, well, we're seeing the screen.
Why is it?
Long Island, it looks like.
You're seeing. Oh, you are? Okay, good. Is it animating though?
Yeah, well, it just moved once.
Well, okay. It's pretty slow.
Yeah.
Probably just better off showing you a still picture.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's not a lot going on today, but this is the, that's fine here. Yeah, these are kind of lower clouds, cold air moving out over the ocean. The dark areas are the clouds, it's infrared. And the lighter color here is actually cooler water. It's off the coast, but we can look at winds at different layers. I don't know if that's showing. Do you see the different colors now?
Yep. Yep. So we've done this 3 times, I think now, and I still don't understand. How do you get the winds at different layers from a single image from up in space? Like, how do you pick? I know the different colors are the different winds at the different heights. How do you differentiate those from that one picture we're looking at?
Okay. Yeah, there's actually 18 different infrared channels.
Oh,
and we're
okay.
only looking at one basically. And there's other processing that's part of the GOES mission that produces, actually running this in Wisconsin at a faster rate, but it produces an estimate of the cloud top pressure and height from the cloud top temperature, and that temperature is derived from the infrared.
So you have the
But
different
then it's
18 different bands tell you where you're at in the vertical stack.
Well, in combination with an estimate of what the vertical temperature profile looks like. So I think I showed you the balloon sounding last time.
That makes sense now.
And yeah, so if the cloud top is at -20 and the sounding shows that -20 is at 30,000 feet, 20,000 feet, say, then it assigns at 20,000 feet. It's a little more complicated because they use different channels to kind of fine tune it a little bit, but basically it needs some auxiliary information on the temperature height profile in vicinity of the image. I'm going to switch to, so there's 2 sectors, and those 2 sectors, there's images are actually taken every minute. So there's 2 sectors and they can be moved around. We were looking at sector number 1. They can be repositioned at will in the scanning procedure from the ground. And so now it's loading. It may take a while for you to see it. So this is sector number 2. So they have it actually. Okay, they actually have it centered over, pretty much over us, kind of over Wichita Falls, I guess would be the center, but it covers Oklahoma and Kansas. And when it comes up, you'll see these.
Oh, I see the Red River now.
Darker. Okay, yeah. If I highlight that, you'll see it better. Okay. So the dark areas, it's just an enhancement that I use, and you can vary the enhancements, but it's used to look at more detail in the cloud top temperature structure to better define movement. And so there's all these sort of variations in grays there, but basically the areas that are moving are the clouds. And then there's a background, you see different shades of gray there. Those are actually clear sky land surface differences. So somewhere in here is the Palo Duro Canyon. It's kind of obscured a little bit by this cloud feature, but it's starting to emerge there. And it's actually warmer in the canyon right now than it is surrounding it. You can see certain river valleys are like that too.
Oh, I see what you're
so
saying.
it's actually,
I got it.
yeah, it's actually measuring the ground surface temperature when there's no clouds. The infrared is
Microculture kind of thing.
Yeah, there's variability due to terrain. And so generally, you go west in Kansas, it gets bright here as you get up higher terrain and then into southeast Colorado. Same thing in the western panhandle of Texas and eastern Mexico compared to, say, central, northeastern Oklahoma, eastern Kansas. And those vary depending on, during the day, this area may heat up more actually than out here. But this is nighttime. And we could actually see, there was a solar eclipse, you might remember, I guess it was 2-3 years ago, in August, a total solar eclipse that moved across Nebraska in late October. I don't know if you remember that. And it's a partial eclipse here. And when the shadow of the moon, you could see the shadow of the moon passing very rapidly on these satellite images, it would darken and lighten, but you could also see the temperature response. Like you could actually measure the change in temperature in 1 minute as the shadow moved in, and then it would go down, temperature would drop as the shadow increased, and then as the shadow moved away, it would start warming up again. So it's a very sensitive instrument. So the winds, again, these little buttons up here are different layers in the atmosphere. The lowest layers on the left, the highest layers are on the right. So flight level for most commercial aircraft are typically kind of in the upper part of these colors here, and maybe sometimes up to the blues here. And so by tracking these clouds, it's estimating the displacement from minute to minute, and they're generally around 80 knots right now. So this can be useful to aircraft. Could be useful in maximizing their flight track, their flight plan in a sense. They're not using this information yet, but there's other information from the satellite that's been shown to be useful in detecting clear air turbulence at flight level due to these wave structures that occur particularly downwind of the mountains. So there's a lot of different applications of this kind of satellite data. I don't know if this is actually animating for you or not. Let's see here.
Yeah, it's running about two or three cycles. Yeah, I was just looking up at the up in I guess it's Colorado, at the very top left of that screen. You can see some wackiness on that on the direction, and that would be your clear air turbulence. And Oklahoma or Texas Panhandles, boy, it's just nice straight westerly winds. So man, I bet they could take that and figure out their save some fuel. They change their routes.
Yeah, well, they do a pretty good job of it now, I think, with there are a few surprises, I suppose, but the basic pattern is so well sampled. When they do their flight plans, I think they do a pretty good job. And of course they can maneuver too and adjust their flight a little bit in real time to particularly get around turbulence, but also to stay out of the jet stream if they're going westward, for example. So you can see the upper flow. I mean, this is high level flow in the atmosphere is west-southwesterly, and moderately strong. So yeah, if a plane, say, is going from LA to maybe Georgia or South Carolina or something, it would have these winds here. But if they were going the other way, they might maybe take a southern route if the winds were less. I'm not sure they are, though. But we're looking at this, the work I'm doing, we're looking at this for hurricanes out of the ocean where there's not many observations. And of course, there's some reconnaissance flights, but they're not all the time. And they're usually lower in the storm. And then the other application is in severe thunderstorm analysis. So often what you'll see is really strong divergent flow when there's usually the updraft. The stronger the updraft, sometimes penetrating the stratosphere, will cause almost like a puddle effect where you're throwing a rock in the water. The water goes away from the rock in all different directions. You'll see that in these winds as well. And so it could be some use in judging updraft intensity, particularly where you don't have good radar coverage. And I could show you the balloon stuff here if you want to. Let's get a new window going here. We could compare the winds we just saw with the nearest weather balloons. Let's see, upper air's there. Okay, so here's Oklahoma. Here's Norman from the weather balloon, probably from 6 p.m. It's taking a while to load on my machine, so it probably is going to take a while to load on yours too. Yeah, I don't know if you could. Can you see that now?
Yep.
So the winds are shown. The wind flags are shown on this vertical line on the right, and this is going up from the surface up in height. So the heights we were looking at were somewhere in here, I think. And so the winds were shown to be, there's a 45 knot wind there, 40, 40, 40, then it goes to 50, 55, 60, 65 up here. But then down here, actually, there's some 50 knot winds. So not quite as strong at that time here. But if we go to, let's look at Amarillo, see what they look like. Yeah, the winds are stronger at Amarillo, and I think that cloud, of course, this is 3 hours after this balloon launch, so yeah, there's some 75 knot winds in
80s on the other one, weren't you?
80s from the satellite, yeah. So, and the wind direction here is westerly, maybe a little southwesterly. And yeah, the red curve gives temperature. So again, looking at if you're just using this literally and you measured a temperature, cloud top temperature, say -30, which is actually Celsius they use, you'd come up here and that cloud top would be at this height. It would be just under 400 millibar pressure. And for those of you not used to these pressure units, the pressure at the ground, of course, Amarillo is a little higher, but it's generally going to be somewhere around 1,000 millibars. So 500 is where half the weight of the air is above you and half is below you. And typically the jet stream, the highest wind levels are kind of in this area here, which this varies, but right now it'd be about 250 millibars. Now there is a height computation here. It's just not plotted for some reason. We could look up the heights, but it's just not on the plot. So yeah, that's kind of how that works. And this is called the tropopause. So when you get above this level, temperature, there's we call isothermal. The temperature doesn't get too much colder anymore until you get up here. So the temperature drops rapidly with height from the ground up to this level, and then it's kind of not a layer where the temperature is pretty steady, and that's the lower stratosphere. And so generally aircraft, commercial aircraft will fly pretty close to this level, maybe a little bit below it. Yeah, that actually gives a height. So that's in meters. That's 10.2 kilometers above sea level. So that would be like 30-some thousand feet is up here. In the wintertime, these are lower to the ground than they are in the summer. So your aircraft would tend to be flying a little bit lower altitudes this time of the year to be in the jet stream. Oh, I was going to show you the map. We looked at this last week too.
33,600 feet.
Okay. So this is a map made at the mid levels of the troposphere, the atmosphere, where the weather is, and it's got all of these observations, are all the different weather service sites where they launch weather balloons twice a day. So there's one in Norman, so it's minus 16 degrees Celsius right now, halfway up there, and that's more like well, it gives the height 5, so that would be 5.6. Say 5.7 kilometers above sea level. So that would be, what would that be? Something like
18,700.
18, yeah. So that height, the temperature was minus 16. Same at Amarillo, but then you get out, that's out near Albuquerque area, minus 26, that looks like. Maybe not quite that low. And then minus 18 or 15. But as you go across these contours, temperatures get colder and colder and colder. So minus 36 up here, north of Lake Winnipeg, Winnipegosis, I guess. They're actually expecting a big blizzard up in this area tonight. Tomorrow it's probably already started. Southern Manitoba, and probably going to affect parts of North Dakota and Minnesota too.
Santa Claus gets some
so
snow.
Yeah, that's kind of how that.
Friday.
Yeah. Now, if we go up higher, 300 millibars, the winds usually get stronger. It hasn't loaded yet. There we go. And they've color coded the wind speed. So this is typically what aircraft navigation might be interested in to maximize where to fly. So if they were leaving from, say, Casper, Wyoming tonight, and they wanted to fly to New York City, they would not go straight east. They would try to curve up like this to take advantage of these really strong jet stream winds here, which are, looks like 130 knots, maybe.
We're not seeing, I'm seeing it's the blank screen there.
Oh, it probably just hasn't caught up yet. I'll give it a minute.
There it is. There it is.
Tell me, you see it now? Yeah, so this red area here is the highest wind speeds in this area. So it's over 100, I don't know, 150 knots, something like that. Compared to ours. Well, here's ours at that height is 60 knots. So that gives you an idea of the difference. But there's kind of a minor jet stream here, this color here. And then there's one coming down on the backside of this trough through Washington, Oregon. And then the one picks up here, coming into this eastern trough. But this trough here is the one that's the cold front we're getting tonight is going to be, related to that at the surface, and most of the moisture precipitation will be way up north. So we will be high and dry, as they say. Now, can even go up higher, 250 millibars. And the winds aren't quite as strong here, but they're stronger down here. So now we see this southern, sometimes they call this a subtropical jet stream. And it's, looks like 125 knot wind, maybe. That's just kind of coming into central Texas.
That's moving.
It's pretty substantial. Yeah, so again, aircraft would tend to try to maximize their ground speed by getting in these things as they're moving downwind, but when they're going upwind, they'll try to stay out of them.
Yep.
Plus, they can be pretty turbulent in some cases, as you can imagine. So yeah, that's kind of just an overview of that. We can look at the lower levels too. It may take a while for this to update on your screen, but
not there yet.
So yeah, you'll see it'll look a lot different than what we saw before.
Got it. Yep. Oh, 925. That's right above the surface.
Yes, and so this is the low pressure system, and it's generally north of it where they'll get the heavy precipitation, in this case snow. And then the front, looks like there's some sort of a front coming down here. It's going to pass tonight. And as this thing moves east, the cold air, will rush down in the lower levels over our area. Of course, it won't be bitterly cold, but colder than we've had the last couple of days, that's for sure. But yeah, they're good a blizzard up in this area, strong winds. And there's actually another plot I could show you that shows the surface weather. It's a little hard to read, but let me just see what's going on there now. This may take a little bit to update on my screen, which it has not yet. There we go. So I don't know if it's updated on yours yet.
Not yet. There it is.
Okay, so this is the Red River Valley, Red River of the North. That river flows northward, by the way, divides Minnesota from North Dakota here. And so on the North Dakota side, it's 16 with a really strong wind, and they're getting not too heavy snow up here, light snow at the moment, 1 degree up here. I think that's Flin Flon, Manitoba. And then in northwestern Ontario, they're getting snow with a northeasterly wind. So that low center is somewhere in here because the winds are all from the southeasterly here in most of Minnesota. And it's above freezing until you get up to Bemidji, Bemidji's below freezing, but Brainerd's 38. So a lot of warm air moving up through this area, relatively warm for late December. 50 down in southern Iowa, 56 in southeast Nebraska. So these storm systems can really pump a lot of warm air northward, but a lot of cold air southward. But the way they've got this map set up, you can kind of focus in. I'll click on us, focus in on different regions, and it may take a while to update on yours as well. This is the latest map. Whoops, what happened there? Looks like it got too small. I don't know why. Clicked on something, but you might still be able to see it.
Yep.
Is it updated? Okay,
Oklahoma.
so so this is the most recent map. So It's kind of hard to see. Get this thing out of the way. There we go. So this was from 0343 UTC. So that was just a few minutes ago, right? It's 0345 now, I believe. So yeah, so here, yeah, just notice the cold front's still way up here in southwestern Nebraska, northeast Colorado. It's all southwesterly winds. Southeast Colorado, western Kansas still, but it's gonna move fast. It'll be here certainly by daybreak. But those winds are howling from the south. These have gusts plotted on them. They're a little hard to read, but gusting 24 knots. There, it looks like it's Kingfisher, and then that's Shawnee, Oklahoma City, gusting to 25. So it's a windy night from the south-southeast. And
yeah, I can hear the wind here blowing like a big dog.
Yeah.
Ground a little.
And then it'd be blowing really good tomorrow afternoon. You know what happens when you get these situations where a cold front passes and there's a strong pressure gradient. The ground heats up from the sun a little bit and it brings down, transports the higher level winds down to the surface, because usually the winds are going to be stronger as you go up because of the friction of the ground and trees and everything. So we'll probably, the wind gust be pretty strong tomorrow, particularly in the middle of the day, I would guess. Probably the strongest gusts. Of course, particularly in northwestern Oklahoma, where they typically get the stronger winds. Yeah, this is Liberal, Kansas has gusts to 30, 25 knots sustained, I guess. It's not overly, it's not extreme wind, obviously. I don't think they have a wind advisory out. It's kind of borderline. So that's kind of it for, what's going on. I could show you what a forecast looks like if you want to look at that real quick.
Yeah, let's see what tomorrow's going to be. I'm hoping for another 80-degree day.
Bye, all. Merry Christmas.
All righty, see you, Phil.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Ciao.
This is going to take a little bit to load too.
Merry Christmas.
There it goes.
Hey, Bill.
I'll see y'all. Bye-bye.
Ciao.
See ya. So this particular display, there's many ways to look at forecasts. I like it because it's got colors on it. Tell me when it updates.
Got it.
When you see, okay, so this is actually, you can choose different forecast models, but this is the European model, which tends to be generally the most accurate for like longer term forecasts in terms of the gross features, not the details. So this was from this morning, and the solid contours are the surface pressure. So the surface low pressure was actually out in, I guess that was northern Idaho area roughly, or no, Montana this morning. And then by tomorrow morning, it's going to be in Minnesota. And oops, they actually have the front. The front would be right in here. And this would be 6 a.m. in the morning, local time. This is a 12 UTC, all of these. So 12 UTC tomorrow, the front will be just passing us according to this. And then by Thursday morning, it somehow didn't make the plot. But then by, let's see, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning, it's up in Quebec. And what the colors are, there's contours, color contours as well. That's 500 millibar heights. So they're color coded from warm colors to cold colors, because basically the heights are related to the mean temperature in the layers. So that's basically a piece of a polar vortex here, this purple thing. And you could see remnants of it that's south of the North Pole. That's northern.
That's out there by
Hudson
Mike.
Bay.
Mike, that's your house, isn't it?
Hudson Bay area. Yeah.
Mike's up in Michigan. He's up in the central Michigan part.
Oh, up here. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's right
They're,
there.
they're probably going to get like Alpena or Midland, Michigan. Midland or Flint, Michigan, probably. But they're going to get rain out of this. They may get some flurries after it passes. But so you can see that the flow at 500 millibars follows these contours. So like we saw in the satellite, it's moving kind of like this. And even tomorrow morning, kind of a westerly flow. But after that upper trough passes, we'll be a northwesterly flow, even at these high altitudes. And then we have some really nice weather after that. The ridge builds in, and by Saturday morning, we'll have southwest winds at the surface. So we'll be moderating pretty quickly. And then it shows a lower latitude trough coming in. That would be by Wednesday, the 30th. So a week from tomorrow. And they've got a storm, low pressure, pretty much just to our west that moves by, and then we'll have another brief shot of cool air behind it. It's conceivable we could get some precipitation with that one if this forecast pans out. So that's kind of an overview of the next week, roughly week to 10 days, actually.
Huh.
Yeah, this storm's a little further south, so it's by Thursday morning, the 31st of December. It's kind of just north of St. Louis, so and then moves to maybe Upper Michigan by the 1st. That would give snow a little further south, probably Iowa, eastern Nebraska, parts of Wisconsin would get snow if that pans out. That's a long way away though, so it loses accuracy, obviously.
Yeah.
And you can see hurricanes on this one. There's hurricanes. Now you can also look at another view. So this is the North America view, but this website gives you the option to plot different regions. So we can put the Northern Hemisphere, just kind of give you that's kind of an interesting view. You don't see on TV weathercasts so often. It's going to take a while to update. It hasn't updated on my screen yet, but it's getting close. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is a big picture view. Let me know when it updates. There's kind of a hemispheric view. Is it updated yet?
Kind of the same view that it's been.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It hasn't changed, huh? I may be overloading it with
pixels.
Overloading it with images here. I don't know.
There it goes.
Okay, good. So the North Pole is roughly here.
You are
and
here.
North America is here. Yeah, North America is here. So this up here would be Russia and Asia, and Europe's over here. So it kind of gives you a picture of like the really big picture over the hemisphere. And talking about the polar vortex, so sometimes the polar vortex, like last summer, was really concentrated as one vortex, but it's very disorganized now. So it has these different sort of pieces here. Probably the strongest are on the Asian side right now. And I think they're getting pretty cold weather in Siberia from what I think I heard. And it seems to more or less stay there through the period. Go ahead a little further there. Yeah, there's kind of a more secondary one over Hudson Bay, which I think would probably maintain that similar pattern we're in, where we get these troughs kind of moving over the central part of the country. they're relatively dry here, and then they pick up moisture and affect a little further east and northeast. But yeah, no big changes in the pattern there. But they actually talk in wave space. So so this would be, they do a harmonic analysis and get say at a particular latitude circle and get the breakdown of how much amplitude is in each wave number or wavelength. And that sometimes tells a story as to long range changes, like if we're dominated by a wave 3, something happens versus a wave 4. The wave 4 is more unstable and doesn't last as long. So yeah, it's a different, it's energy, but it's not electromagnetic energy.
Yeah.
It's probably kinetic energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of a view of all that.
Cool.
Get to see all these things that meteorologists, probably the TV people, don't use very often, but
no. Well, let me say, I haven't watched a TV person in years, so I have no idea what they do.
I have not either watched a TV person in years. People talk about these people, and I've heard their name, but I don't know. You know, seen pictures of them, but I haven't watched TV in years for that matter.
Yeah.
So, got better things to do. Well, I suppose I should stop sharing and
call it a day.
There's still 5 participants. Amazing. I probably talked your ears off. Sorry.
Yeah, it's fun. Always fun. I'm surprised Peter hasn't jumped in. He's probably still making dinner.
Yeah. Yeah. How long do I have? Okay. So it's quick question for you, Rob.
Sure.
Okay. So you mentioned, this is back to the beginning, the temperature profile that you get from the balloon launchers.
Right.
You correlate that with the IR band images to get your height.
Right.
Okay, if you were to stop launching balloons, the day-to-day and week-to-week variation, does that data diverge and you start, does that temperature profile, is that pretty constant, or is it something that the balloons needs to be launched every so often to kind of recalibrate and get a new reference data?
Right. That's a very good question. It actually changes very quickly, and maybe not so much in the summer, but in the winter time when we get these troughs and ridges, like tomorrow, in 2 days, the atmosphere will be much colder in general throughout its depth than it is today. So there'll be a big change. Usually not hour to hour, but day to day there can be big changes. So you could be off by a fair bit. So yeah, they're launched twice a day worldwide. They always have been. They're coordinated launches around the world. So they use Greenwich time or UTC. The convention is to launch it at 0 and 12. Actually, they're actually launched an hour earlier because it takes a full hour or so for the balloon to reach its maximum altitude.
Okay.
And they do launch intermediate ones, like when there's the possibility of severe weather, they'll launch them.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Maybe every 6 hours, maybe 3 hours. And we've done experiments. There's lots of atmospheric experiments where they'll launch them every 3 hours at a more fine network. So there was an experiment here many years ago called Project Sesame, like Open Sesame, and that was 1979. So that's going way back. And they at that time, I believe it was Tinker, well, the Air Force had basically a weather squadron that based in Oklahoma, where for tactical purposes, they launched weather balloons as well, for missiles and computations, trajectory computations. And they participated in the experiment, and they had, I think, 6 different mobile units, Air Force mobile units, launching weather balloons just in the state of Oklahoma. So they had one at Hinton and one maybe at Chickasha, various places like that. And they would coordinate them under certain conditions when storms were expected, as often as every 3 hours, I believe, but occasionally every hour and a half. And that was new at the time. That was the first time they've did something like that, trying to provide more detail in the analysis than was ever available. And of course, satellites back then, we had some kind of rudimentary satellite images, but nothing like today. And the problem is for hurricane forecasting or typhoon forecasting out over the oceans, there's not many weather balloon launch sites. What the Air Force, what they do, what the U.S. does, and I think other areas too, with the reconnaissance planes, the hurricane hunters, they're called sometimes, they have something called drop wind sondes. So rather than releasing a balloon from the ground, the plane's flying a trajectory, in the area, and they drop it from the plane. And so it's going down instead of going up, gives the same information. And what we're doing, the work I'm doing with my colleagues in Wisconsin, is we're actually going to do intercomparisons of the satellite drive winds for some of the hurricanes this last season, like Laura and Delta in particular, with some of the weather balloon, well, they're not balloons, they're called drop wind sondes from these reconnaissance aircrafts to try to assess the accuracy basically of these winds estimated from satellite. But ultimately those winds will be more useful over the ocean than over land because there's so few weather balloon measurements over the vast oceans. And of course, hurricanes form over the ocean and stay over the ocean.
Yeah.
So
Hopefully.
the satellites provide, critical information, much more critical information for tropical weather than it does for, say, continental thunderstorms like we have here. But nevertheless, it still can add something.
Okay, yeah. So all these, whether it's the drop zones or the weather zone, balloons, they are thousands of kilometers apart. So everything else in between, I presume, is it has to be extrapolated. And
right.
since you're not looking, you're not expecting, discrete jumps, in temperature. Everything is going to be gradual from one point to another. So there's actually a lot of data that's kind of being filled in and extrapolated from whatever they can get. Is that the case?
Yeah, absolutely. And aircraft have data. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's called ACARS data.
Yeah.
So so aircraft provide some additional information as well.
Wow, that's interesting that the ACARS, their data actually gets piped into you guys, and you all use that to supplement the temperature profile.
Right, and winds. So there's models that were developed, forecast models that were developed in Boulder that are now being used operational by NOAA. They incorporate many different types of data to try to interpolate in their aircraft, satellite.
Is this all out of NCAR in Boulder?
Well, it is and it isn't. So NOAA has a big research lab or set of labs in Boulder as well. And those labs, they actually developed that particular model. But they, NCAR, it's almost synonymous because they kind of work together on a lot of things. But specifically, that model came out of NOAA rather than NCAR. They're kind of co-located there. Now, another thing the Weather Service used to have, I don't know, were these ground-based UHF, VHF radars. I don't know if you heard about that. They were called profilers. They still exist to some extent. And there was a whole network of them, and they basically have vertically pointing beams, long wavelengths compared to the microwave radars. And hang on just a minute, I gotta run over here, I'll be right back.
Looks like he's got a kitty issue.
Yep. Oh, Peter, did you get much feedback on the big event from yesterday?
Not yet. I haven't caught up. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. Lots of thanks for the link to the stream. They shared it with people they knew or whatever.
Oh, good.
I only let a handful of people know about the stream.
Spread it around.
Mark,
Yeah,
we're asking about the.
I'm just thinking, so if we no longer launch the balloons, that's it. All that infrared, we'll never be able to make out, top or bottom of the clouds kind of deal.
Well, unless you have some kind of other telemetry that we can figure out something else to measure it all the way up. Carl, you said something in there. What'd you say?
Yeah, earlier you were asking about the 12 days of Christmas.
Yep.
And I just remembered that not only do I have all 12, I actually have almost all of them on at least 2 different bands. You don't have to do different bands for each station, but it's just one of those things that I got finished doing all 12. And so I thought, well, hey, why stop here? Why not try to get them on each station on multiple bands?
Nifty.
Hey, cool. So you already picked up all 12 stations, Carl?
Yeah. And I just lack a couple more stations from having them on at least 2 bands, each one.
Man, I need to go fire up the rig.
You got enough radios, just hook them up.
Yeah, I know. Have you heard, is it Netherlands? There's usually that, have you heard on the air yet? There's usually one of those Scandinavian countries doing a Nordic Christmas special event station. Let me go look that up.
Oh yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago.
Golly.
Yeah, where was that? Let me go look. Yeah, I have to go pull up my logbook somewhere.
Hello, Peter.
Hey, Mike, how y'all doing there?
Doing pretty good. We missed the Great Conjunction because it was snowing last night. And it's too cold to haul a telescope out anyway.
Yeah. Oh, we had perfect, it's a perfect weather yesterday. This evening it was patchy. The previous day it was not too bad, but yesterday couldn't ask for better weather than yesterday.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Well, I at least have this. When the weather is nice and it's not too cold, I can see the Milky Way with the naked eye, pretty much right going outside from in the house. So that's nice.
Yeah, you are. Don't tease me with that.
Well, I've just listened long enough. I think I'll wish you guys Merry Christmas and head on out of here.
Merry Christmas, Mike.
Merry Christmas.
Ciao, Mike.
Catch you before the new year. I'm trying to see what that. Let's see if they're still doing it this year.
Trying to see what?
No, that Christmas station.
Oh, the special event. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for too. I remember something like that. Remember what it was?
Netherlands.
Is it?
This year should be PC. Let's see if they are doing it. Nope. Not at all. Oh, that's a pity.
Netherlands radio amateurs get a fee increase.
For who, what, where?
Netherlands amateur radio folks are getting a fee, higher annual amateur radio fees.
Yeah. It's in it. You know, the all the talk about the fees, I think I told you, mentioned to you before, Mark, it's pretty interesting. I know a couple of locations where they were going to drop the fees, and or at least the talk, you know, from what I understand, the clubs actually insisted that the authorities didn't drop the fees.
Yeah.
Well, the reasoning being because once it's a free service, as long as you're paying for it, you had a seat at the table, you know.
Yeah.
Some Commonwealth, yeah. You know, it's like I'm a paying licensed.
Yeah, but the hams here typically have we by gosh do public service, so we own this anyway.
Oh, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything on that. They should have something coming out pretty soon. But I bet Washington's in uproar right now. So.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, Netherlands. Yeah, now I see all that. Oh, then there's no Christmas Eve transfer. Yeah, I don't think anyone else. Someone usually runs a Santa Claus net on Top Group 91 as well.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
I just haven't listened down on the 3816 this year.
Yeah, I need to do that. Wow. Yeah, their fees are not cheap. Well, not cheap, but you know, it's something. They got to pay for repeaters as well.
Yep.
$240 a year for repeaters license.
And that's fine if you get something, but you don't get anything.
Yeah, dang. Yeah, anyway, yeah, sorry to hear about your truck, man, but glad you're doing well.
Oh, I'm fine. Yeah, no, it didn't do much. I mean, it's if you see it, you can see it easily, but if you
do you normally have deer problems out there?
Yeah, we got lots of them.
Oh.
Yeah. Lots of them. Lots of them. We've had I don't remember we typically have 5 or 7 of them in the morning in the backyard.
Oh, okay.
Coming in to drink out of the pond.
Okay. There's a Christmas City Amateur Radio Club out of where is that? WX3 MAS. They do get a Wow, okay. They've been doing this thing since '68 or so. And then okay, logged in there in whenever 2016.
Very cool. WX3 MAS.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Man, so you know all this wind profile, everything. I was going to ask Bob. You know, a lot of it is, man. You're just. I don't want to use the word fudging, but you're just extrapolating data in between thousands of miles between balloon launches. You know.
For temperatures, yeah.
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 Wondering what other ways they can. They can. Well, that's pretty neat. That drop zone, yeah, and or using ACAS, using the aircraft data.
Yeah, that's pretty nifty. You know, the other thing that I told my buddies here at the Weather Service is that all these cars that are running around with GPS location stuff, talking to the internet, they all have thermometers in them because they have to do that for thermometers and pressure gauges to get their mixes right. If they could take all that data and assimilate it into weather profiles, they could have the whole U.S. just scattered with.
Oh wow! Yeah, your mic. Oh yeah, that if it's on cars, that's a good way to get your urban, suburban microclimate.
Yep.
There's a project at NCAR, I think, to do just that.
Is there? I talked to Lance Rothfuss about that 3 or 4 years ago, and he went, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, grab all the data that I pick up and pull the weather data out of it."
How did you know Lance? Through amateur radio or?
Church.
Okay, he used to be my boss.
Yep. Oh,
of course, he's retired now, but.
Yeah, I knew him back when he was in school.
Oh yeah, that's right. He went to school here.
He went to school here, and I was part of I helped him build the vans, the early vans. Remember the Toto vans and those kind of things back in the day?
Oh yeah.
I helped him build a lot of those things, and I knew him from, big thing was from church at that time, and then he moved away and came back.
Yeah. I guess he's still.
Yeah.
Guess
Mark,
he's what?
Talking about NCAR, we visited there like 2 years back. I was surprised they moved. Apparently, is this true? Is it true? So they moved all the supercomputing facilities out northwest or something like that because basically, they couldn't get any more power up to that to that area there. They went to somewhere where they nearer to cheaper power to run all their.
Right. I heard that too. But they have two facilities. Of course, the one up on the Flatirons is the most scenic and known one, but they have another facility
down